Our story begins in the capital of the Antares Empire, Reifenheim. We see a massive, bizarre dragon roaring loudly. Many knights are being trampled by this dragon, and it's not alone. Other creatures are completely destroying the capital of the kingdom. We spot a blonde man on horseback, clad in heavy armor. I'm not sure if he's the king, but he's already lost around 2 million troops to the evil beast that was summoned. The high-scale magic and the summoning of this creature killed 200,000 people and left 300,000 injured. However, this also marks the end of the Demon King who destroyed our kingdom and plunged this world into evil. The cursed Demon King will be purged by our true warriors, all thanks to Lord Majesty. Yes, he really is the king. Meanwhile, in the great castle of the Demon King in the heart of Garak, we find ourselves in the Temple of Abyss, where our hero, Alex von Hallen, stands. Your cursed acts end now, demon, he says, and he is not alone. He has his troop with him. It's time for you to return to the darkness. Evil King, Demon King Reifenhart. We see that he is the Emperor of Antares, the city that was being destroyed. Reifenhart Wall Antares, cursed Demon King, I will destroy you and put an end to this story of the Dark Empire, says the guiding star of the sword. Cyrus, isn't this a bit unfair, responds Reifenhart. I built this empire with such difficulty, and why are you dismissing the name Antares, which is so cool, and calling it the Dark Empire? The sun also shines and the moon also rises in this place, just like everywhere else. Is the Dark Empire creating beasts? If you are against the cursed nature of monsters, you should leave as well. The Shadow Emperor thinks, diabolical nature. That's nonsense. They were like this before I met them. All I did was teach them human tactics. The demons suffered much more loss on their side, and these humans now think they were corrupted by the tactics. To begin with, it's all the humans' fault. Ask the warriors. All my 4 divine kings fell. Yes, that damned orc couldn't withstand my sword. Are you telling me that the great warrior Tathat is dead? Even though orcs seem wild, they actually live hunting and gathering. They are an innocent tribe that doesn't even know the meaning of betrayal. They protect the weak and fight the strong, and these humans treat them like monsters. It's true that they don't bathe much, but I don't think that's a reason. The 4 divine kings, that ugly monster troll, paid for his sins. Even my poor Gerd Athelker returned to the embrace of the earth. Trolls can be scary, but calling them ugly creatures isn't fair. They are a tribe very grateful to nature. Even that evil dwarf who served the god of shadows returned to his natural flow of life. Who is saying this is Saint Ellen. Oh, poor Emlyn. Ever since Dwarf, the god of dwarves, became a god of darkness, this arrogance and religious intolerance began. Even that corrupt dark elf was sent to the underworld. She couldn't compete with my magic, says Jade Archlight, the mage of light. The emperor becomes very irritated. Even you, do you really want to die? Finally showing your true face. Huh, Demon King, that corrupt elf was already swallowed by the shadows. There's no room for sympathy here. Dark elf. Her skin was only a little darker because she had to walk under the sun for too long. After the damned humans cut down her forest. Just because she has tan skin, a pure-blooded elf was treated as a dark elf. Give me a break. I will appease the souls of the dead with my sword. It seems that words don't work with you. For them, other tribes that aren't human are just beings that escaped slavery. These evil guys need to be killed. In that case, I will become the Demon King you wish for me to be. Reifenhart uses a spell that raises all the heroes at once. My name is Reifenhart Wall Antares. I was just an ordinary archmage, like all the others. Being an archmage is not easy, but let's understand. Humans can't see other races as intelligent beings. Elves are treated as long-living and beautiful servants. Dwarves are quick mining slaves. Orcs are just brutes. And trolls die to become potion ingredients. Each of these races that humans see as slaves has pride and self-respect. Imagine how shocked Reifenhart Wall Antares was to learn it wasn't like that. He got to know the other species, learned their cultures and the elemental magic of elves and trolls. Combining them, he was the first person in history to create 10 magical summoning circles at the same time. Even so, he remained friendly with the other races because he wasn't like the other humans who only wanted to exploit. He could no longer see that happening and began to rescue the races seen as slaves. As his territory grew, it became increasingly difficult to hide from humans. So, humans started sending their soldiers with spears and swords against the empire, continuously invading, crushing, and killing the other races. Reifenhart Wall Antares explains that he only attacked because he was attacked, but ended up conquering some surrounding lands. That's how the Antares Empire was born. In the end, he created a nation just for the other races, but he didn't hate humans. He believed that intelligence was equal for all races. He didn't retaliate against the humans, and this was the result. Even though the other races just wanted to live a good life together, of course. Humans had to say that it was a malicious corruption, since the armed forces of Antares were created. Goblins and orcs have been increasingly looked down upon, but they killed my own people, my comrades. This makes no sense at all. As a king, I have the duty to protect my country. country. If there's a law that says you can kill me, I will remove that law and make a new one. The first to act is Alex. You might have earned your title as a hero by being good with a sword and magic, but in reality, you failed at both. They even called you versatile. But in truth, you're just a jerk in heroic tales. The warrior is always the one who survives in the end, but in reality, the one who focuses on one thing is the one who survives. What remains now is the one with the most resilient and strong body, the king of fists, Tesla. The others made it here somehow, but Teslan is different. He charges at the emperor and punches the ground, demolishing everything. This guy has really only dug a hole in his life. It's not going to be easy. We see that even the wall of the tower where the emperor was is broken, and the emperor jumps across the castle rooftops. But Teslan doesn't let up. Reifenhart tries to protect himself with magic, but Teslan goes all in. This will be our victory, Demon King Reifenhart. So, he's saying that other races must live as slaves because that's their true nature. I won't accept that. I can't give up. I'll use the Eye of Space-Time, an artifact with such powerful magic that even a 10th magic circle can't decipher it. What are you trying to do, demon? A spell to turn back time and space, which completely alters the user's time and even shakes the domains of God. Stop me if you can. King of Fist Teslan. I can't die here. Not like this. In the final moment, Teslan manages to punch the artifact, but it was too late, as the spell had already been cast, and both disappear in a sphere of light. In the next scene, we see a beautiful morning with birds singing and a small woodcutter's cottage in the middle of the forest. The curtains sway, and the sun streams through the window. This warmth is so comforting. I'm still alive. Did it work? My spell worked. That spell to turn back space-time worked without me deciphering it. It seems I really am a genius. I didn't think it would actually work. But where am I now? I definitely made a temporal jump. How old am I now? Del finally gets out of bed. I can make someone cry just with the size of this body. But who are you? How many calluses are these on my hands? And this body, so muscular and rigid. A mage should be good only at magic. I need abs like these. I don't know what to say. But in my prime, I used to seduce many women. Even when older, I made some elves cry because they found me so handsome. But what about this goofy face here? When did my face become so sculpted and me so strong? Did something happen with the spell? Did I return in the wrong body? There's still the possibility that I'm not in the past. Did I remain in the same period and just switch bodies? These brown hair, these eyes. If this face were larger and had a beard, it's the king of fists, Tesla. Tesla, you idiot. The sun is already high. Why are you still inside? Says a voice. Well, let's start this day with much happiness. Who are you? It seems like you're seeing me for the first time. I really don't know. Tesla, using the excuse of lost memory again? You should know that doesn't work anymore. D grabs Teslan by the head. Let's train. Wait, training? Judging by my current situation, this seems to be Teslan's master, the strongest martial artist on the continent, the first king of fists, Gerard Krom. Hey, sir, please listen to me first. D places a rope in Reifenhart's mouth. All right, you're talking too much today. Now let's start training. He already picks up a piece of bamboo. Oh, what is he going to do with that bamboo? And Reifenhart already knows what will happen. He takes the hardest hit of his life with that bamboo to his abdomen, cries and drools from the pain. What is happening? He starts getting frantically beaten with the bamboo. It seems this is how I'm going to die. Meanwhile, his master thinks, he seems a bit soft today. Did he really lose his memory? Probably because our academy is very strict. Our severe, simple, ignorant, and aggressive execution makes short-term memory not an issue. I've lost some memories too. It's no big deal since the solution is very simple. Everything heals in this life, even lost memories. He keeps beating the poor guy. Humans use weapons because they are weak. They depend on weapons and armor because their bodies are weak. What is this old man talking about? What kind of human doesn't use equipment? This is escapism, the dishonesty of someone who can't surpass their own limits. You are a warrior. You need to train and overcome your weaknesses. This is the first time in my life that I've seen such a simple and ignorant incident in my 50 years of life. Humans are like metal. The more they get beaten, the stronger they become. What kind of humans do you know that are made of metal? You are my chosen disciple. Trust me, your body has no limits. You will become steel. The master thinks. Tesla, not everyone becomes strong just by training. Only high-quality iron becomes steel. There's also a quality that can transform your body into something much stronger. He gives another whack with a bamboo to the poor guy's face. Think of the ocean. There's an ocean inside you. Bring it out. Reifenhart remembers the series. Ah, the ocean. I miss it. When the sun is setting, let's stop for today. Take a rest. I didn't die. I was beaten many times and didn't die. Thank you for being hard on me. Thank you so much. And when it's night, wow, these are herbs, flower petals. This is a healing potion. It must cost 10 silver coins each to fill a bathtub with this. I heard the queen used to bathe in milk to take care of her skin, but that's very modest compared to this. Oh, master, what kind of medicine is in this bathtub? It's all you need to relax your muscles after training. It felt like my muscles were about to die, but I healed quickly because of my power and this potion here. My body recovers very quickly after injuries, making me much stronger. This training actually has a solid foundation. I've fought Teslan before and know how strong his body is. It must be because he's been doing this since childhood. I definitely went back in time. What happened to me during this time period? Is there a young Reifenhardt out there too? Is it possible for two identical souls to exist in the same timeline? If so, I have two hypotheses. The first is that my future self is inside this body, and the other Reifenhardt is still in this timeline with me. The second hypothesis is that I swapped bodies with Tesla. Are you going to eat all of this, kid? A body that just worked out needs to replenish its nutrients. And there's our protagonist with a full belly, but devouring the meat. Son, how about a walk to digest? We see them climbing a mountain. A light, normal walk? Are you already tired, my disciple, or do we continue our training? I'm not tired, sir. In the next scene, he is hanging from a branch doing sit-ups. How long are we going to continue this brutal training? In the next scene, he is already dead tired in his bed. I reincarnated in Teslan's body. I wonder what influence this will have on the future. If my other soul exists in this timeline, what will happen if the two come into contact? Reifenhardt is getting all battered and going crazy. Each of these souls will follow the world's rules in its own way. In very unfortunate circumstances, one of the souls might risk disappearing. The 10-year-old Reifenhardt, who is living now, will begin his journey as a mage. At this moment, he is completely absorbed in the books of the magic tower of Deepia. Apparently, there's no reason for us to meet, right? But what if Teslan took my body? If that's the case, he will definitely come after me and want to train my body with the unbreakable method. That weak body of mine stands no chance against the Teslan of today. But if I manage to reach the 10th circle, the unbreakable method can't be achieved so easily alone. It needs a very experienced master to guide. No, actually, with the level of strength Teslan has, he can find a way, and I'm already imagining a buff and mage Reifenhardt. Anyway, I need to find a way to escape this hell soon. He finds an opening and bolts. Run, run. I definitely need to get away now. Where are you going, my disciple? This old man is a monster. He's been watching me this whole time, just waiting for me. Considering how well you've been doing in recent months, I thought you might give up. But here you are, trying to escape again. This will be your 9th attempt. To be honest, I'm not Teslan. I'm not from this body. Actually, my name is Reifenhardt. I'm a mage. So that's the theme of your story this time. What do you mean, this time? Last time, you said you were from another world, met a dragon, and talked to God. What? What was the story before that? And the time before that? You said you had reincarnated from Master Miram, who lived in the Huan dynasty, way out east. Well, at least this time your story makes sense. It seems you're improving. But now let's go back home to sleep. Come on. He grabs Reifenhardt by the head and drags him as if he were a sack of cement. That damned old man. I know I said it today, but tomorrow I will definitely succeed. And the next time he tried to escape. Okay, I admit, it didn't work this time, but don't think I'll give up so easily. Next attempt, I already tried all these tricks when I was your age. My disciple. Next time, I understand you. Actually, I've been through what you're going through. He pulls Reifenhardt out of bed and drags him, battered and bruised. I know what you're going through, but if you don't give up, you'll have a great reward in the end. The man who was once known as the Demon King, with his absolute determination, finally gave up on escaping. The training method called the Unbreakable has 130 years of history, and the masters have 130 years of experience with students trying to escape. Without a doubt, it's a very remarkable training method, and there has never been a disciple who managed to escape. Even if I were lucky enough to get away, this man would definitely follow me to the ends of the earth. It's much easier to become so powerful that I earn his approval to leave. And with this overflowing love and hell, 2 years of training passed, and I finally awakened my aura. Congratulations, my disciple. You finally managed to awaken your aura. To think that I awakened my aura before I turned 20. Even the renowned Cyrus only awakened his aura in the last 20 years of his life. Why are you so surprised? This is super normal with our unbreakable method. When you combine your training with a will to survive, you eventually survive because of your willpower, and this strength manifests in your aura. Alright, let's move on to the next step and learn some skills. Finally, I'm going to learn some skills the normal way, he thinks, so I'll probably get out of here soon. What kind of training are we going to do, Master? Duel against me, kid. And we see an explosion from afar. After that, another 3 years passed. Now, in the present day, in the southern kingdom of Basil, right in the middle of a mountain range, we see a waterfall among these mountains. There is our protagonist, right in the middle of the waterfall where it splits. Horn of Calamity. We see an enormous aura emanating from his hand, and he delivers a thunderous punch that practically moves the mountain. It seems level 3 is still my limit. Just a bit more, and I think I can surpass this. The Horn of Calamity is a technique that focuses all the energy in your body into a single focal point. It's named Horn of Calamity because of the appearance the energy takes when it's accumulating. I need to gather energy until I reach level 4. We see that he has already made a huge dent in the mountain. The maximum level the Horn of Calamity can reach is level 9, and it's said that when 9 layers of energy combine, a single punch can sweep away even a god. But as far as I know, Teslan's limit in his past life was level 7. Even Master Gerard only managed to reach level 8. The master said he'd approve my departure when I reach level 4. I bet he's going to have a drink and come back late since it's been a while since he visited the village, right? If it were in the past, I'd use this opportunity to escape, but maybe I should just call it a day of training. He begins to cast a spell. Delphorel, stirring, be the projectile that will strike my enemy. Air shot. He manages to hit the tree, but it only burns it slightly without causing significant damage. This body can't handle much magic, can it? Well, I remember all the magical knowledge from my past life. I don't even know if I can develop my magic with this brainless body of Tesla. While he's thinking, he starts to feel something strange. This presence isn't human, and he sees what appears to be an orc in armor with a sword. Human, pretend you didn't see me. Human doesn't die. And the protagonist thinks, it seems like he's trying to communicate, since I wasn't aggressive towards him, as expected of such a noble race as his. Young orc, are you being pursued? What? How do you speak our language? I once had a blessed encounter with an orc. You're right. I am being pursued. Then maybe I can help you. Do you trust me? By the words of our race, you are like a brother to me. My spirit also feels the sympathy you have for me. But brother, you will also be in danger if you want to help me. The protagonist thinks, wow, he speaks so intelligently. Could he be from a very high lineage? I have skills. Orc, trust me. He begins to cast another spell. Come in, orc. My magic will hide you. You're a mage? It's strange for me to see a mage. Yes, I receive your favor with many thanks. Del hears other people approaching. My god, sir, are you putting yourself in this situation for just a few silver coins? Hey, you there, did you see an orc pass by here? If you tell us, I'll give you a gold coin. What do you mean a gold coin? Who said I'd actually give it to him? We hear a response. I pretend I never asked anything. I don't know what you're talking about. That's true. These aren't orc footprints. Let's move on. Guys, the protagonist thinks, this novice level spell doesn't erase footprints. This place is my dwelling, and I won't let you in. Are you out of your mind? How dare you, a little nobody, stop us from entering the mountain? You're just a wanderer. Mr. Bright, I don't think he's someone ordinary. There are 10 of us. Don't be so scared. Enough of this nonsense. Get out of my way. In the end, he's just a child. He begins to remember his master's words. Your staffs are a weapon. Many will die just from you swinging them with magic. Don't worry, I won't kill you. The Unbreakable Academy is a martial school that trains its users in unarmed combat. But that doesn't mean they don't have any armed techniques. They all charge at him, thinking he's crazy for pulling out just a staff. But the protagonist smiles and strikes each one with a swift blow. Damn, he took down several at once. Attack him. But the purpose of the weapon techniques in this training isn't exactly for combat. It's a technique used just to beat up your disciple. While he hits everyone, he thinks these guys are pretty bad at fighting for mercenaries. Meanwhile, he's already slapping another one on the head. This technique involves hitting the entire body of the opponent at once, evenly. There's no defensive technique, it's purely offensive. One guy tries to hit the protagonist with a blade, but his sword gets bent. He takes a hard hit to the face. Wow, having a sword doesn't work against me. And this really is a human body I'm in. I know it's my own body, but this is too much. The good thing about the staff technique is that you'll never kill anyone. He continues beating everyone. Even if I break some tendons, some bones, they'll never die from this technique. Everyone falls to the ground, except the guy who seemed to be the leader. You bastard, what's your name? My name? I think you don't really understand what's happening here, do you? Everyone's on the ground. Do you think you'll be the only one standing? No, please, spare me. We're leaving now. Thank you, thank you. Wow, I broke my staff, but it was really fun hitting them. Should I get a disciple just to beat up? Thank you, my savior. I will never forget this day. I will certainly repay the favor you did for me today. It's okay for a warrior to bow his head. Yes, you saved me and opened a new path for me. Now you are my mentor, and when the time comes, I will use my sword to protect you. The protagonist explains that in orc culture, a mentor is like a leader in their life, highly respected. In human terms, it's like a knight serving his lord. May I ask your name? My name is Tesla. No, actually, my name is Reifenhart Wall Anters. Reifenhart Wall Anters. I will never forget that name. I was going to ask where you were headed, but this world is for human, right? Where do you plan to go? These lands are vast. There must be a place for me to rest somewhere. Even if there isn't, I'd rather walk until I die than become a slave. Or, if you go south of these mountains, there seems to be a nameless land, a wild place where you can stay. You can probably get there in half a month of walking. talking. It's called the Land of Challenges. I've heard that the Blue Bear tribe lives there. I should go there. Farewell, my friend. Wait, but before you go, what's your name? I am the son of Crota, the owner of the Axe of Lart. I am Tathid. That guy was Tathid, the great orc general and warrior, one of the 4 celestial kings. He was the chief of the Blue Bear tribe for a long time and only earned that position because of his power. It seems Teslan met Tathid. Considering his personality, I don't think he helped. Yes, it seems fate has intertwined here. What a funny fate. He feels very happy about this, remembering his old kingdom and the 4 divine kings who stood by his side. We will meet again someday. After a very strange encounter with Tathid, half a year passed. Take this, disciple. Great explosion of K. Ah, master, don't you think that was a bit too much? Spiral guard. Very good. Your spiral guard has reached its peak. It seems like yesterday when you said you were someone named Reifenhart, not Tesla. I think it was brain damage from being beaten so much, because you're talking about something that happened years ago. Master, I've been teaching you for 10 long years, and in that time, you've improved a lot. But why are you still so short? Huh? What do you mean short? I'm 1.90 meters tall. No, not that. A disciple of the Unbreakable Academy should be at least 2 meters tall. Are you still using the breathing techniques I taught you? I think it's just a problem with my body. Master, the protagonist thinks. Don't worry. The Teslan I knew was 2.3 meters tall. This old man is crazy. He wants me to grow even taller. Of course, I'm not using those breathing techniques he taught me. I don't want to turn into a monster. Well, I suppose if you're not tall, but you're resilient, that'll do. Now, show me the results of your training. Begin. He immediately leaps high into the air. Horn of Calamity. He aims for the ground again to deliver this level 4 punch. He hits the ground with full force, and since it was on a glacier, everything goes flying. Water, ice, rocks. It causes a massive explosion that even looks beautiful. Meanwhile, the master watches from the cliff. Splendid, splendid. Now you won't be defeated so easily. I did it. I managed to do the level 4 Horn of Calamity. Now it seems you're ready to go out into the world. You've done well, my disciple Reifenhart. Live as you wish. I don't care if you're good or evil. Live the way you want. These are the fruits of the training you've done so far. The first King of Fists told me to keep 3 things in mind. Gain all the fortune you want, but don't take what's not yours. But you said it's okay if I become evil, right? I'm saying that if you're going to be evil, at least be evil with dignity. You should have some style, right? Second, try to walk with those who have been treated unjustly. Because what is life without praise, right? So, I need to walk with those who have been treated unjustly, not the weak. The weak aren't always treated unjustly. In the first place, this world is full of people weaker than you. What will change if you differentiate each weakness? And third, and most importantly, you must never let the lineage of the Unbreakable Academy die out. You need to find a disciple who is good enough and pass on your techniques. Do you understand? Yes, master. I will keep that in mind. Good. It's hard to find a child with potential, so you don't have to always keep this in mind. But if you find one, don't let them slip away, okay? He tosses a bag to the protagonist. There are some coins in there and some clothes for your journey. 30 silver coins. Look at that. Weren't you a magnate in the kingdom? With a mansion that big, you could have thrown in a few more coins for me, right? In our discipline, we have a bit of sympathy for our apprentices, but times have changed. In my day, it was only 25 coins. I've also prepared a special gift for you. I'm giving you a map, and what's marked on it will surprise you. If you have any business nearby, try to visit that place. Finally, the protagonist puts on his clothes and sets off. Can I really leave here now? I'm finally free of this place. He sees a huge pillar on the mountain. Go on, my disciple. Don't be sad about our farewell. Be firm and run without looking back, for you are the successor of the best teacher in the world. Meanwhile, in the kingdom's city, it's dangerous. Chief, even if they're nobles, I need to say this. What is it? Village chief, I'd like you knights to pay for the food you've eaten so far. The knight thinks, ah, you really have no sense of honor, do you? This should be enough for the payment. He tosses a gold coin. He must be impressed to see a gold coin for the first time. Ah, sir, this isn't enough. What? You idiot. Do you think I don't know the price just because I'm a noble? How dare you insult a knight? He punches the old man in the face. Knights, these men are more like bandits. They didn't just take our shelters, but also our food. And now they're giving us a gold coin. He doesn't consider anything. Neither the workers nor the transport. What's happening here, Sir Edward? It's nothing. Young Master Stefan. Truly a wicked man, isn't he? That's why you should never show mercy to peasants like this. They never know their place. In the next scene, our protagonist is reminiscing about the warm moments he had with Cirrus. Why do you keep caressing me? Oh, I just want to. What's so good about a skinny body like this? Your body is sculpted and precise, like a very well-sharpened weapon. That's how I looked before, but now I look more like an ultra weapon. A giant golem made of stone. Sorry, Cirrus, but this is my body now. At least I'm taller. I think at this point in time, Cirrus guess should be about 70 in human years, which would be around 17. He explains that he is in Krom, a city in the south of the kingdom of Vasily. He mentions that she will be sold next year and will likely be at the Shatton auction. What do I do? Should I destroy the entire auction and free her? No. If I do something so reckless, it will be very hard to regain my magical powers. I guess I'll handle it with money. The price of an elf slave is very high, and I'm short on cash right now, but it's okay. I have a powerful body and even more powerful techniques, and I also have memories of the future. Now that I think about it, I heard there are some ancient ruins along the way. Then we switch back to that obnoxious knight. Todd, have you still not found the location of the ruins? Just a moment longer, sir. Todd is a mage specializing in archaeology and part of the magic tower of Deepia, where our protagonist studied in his past life. His name is Todd. It should be around here, right? Yes, sir. Where the renowned swordsman is buried. Our dear Claude Von. It's been 3 days since I left Krom. I'm heading north through the Hatton Mountains, right along the main road. Wow, I have so much energy and barely feel the cold. This body is insane. I heard that martial arts masters walk around in winter without any clothes. On second thought, I don't think I want to do that. He thinks about his new ability called artificial flashback, a secret technique that allows him to recall memories from any moment in his brain quickly. This is how he remembered the ancient ruins before going back in time. There was a mage in the Tower of Delphia named Todd who told him that in the past he had explored the ruins. I also visited them in my past life and found the true treasure that Todd's group left behind. I sold it for over 2,000 gold coins. I've reached Cattle Village. That's all I remember. In the village, some people are talking about a place called the Valley of Death. It seems they have something very important to do there, but no one wants to go because it's very dangerous. No guild member has arrived so far, but one guy volunteered, saying he knows these mountains better than anyone in the village. His family is very worried, but the rest of the people encourage him to go because no one else wants to. The guy thinks, maybe I don't want to go that much anymore. Our protagonist punches his face against the window glass. If you don't want to go, I can go in your place. Who are you? Oh, calm down, calm down. I'm just passing by and overheard your conversation. The guy thinks, passing by? Who just happens to pass through someone's property? Do you know the area? Ah, very well, actually. And you still want to go? It happens that I've already been there. You may not know, but no one has ever returned alive from the Valley of Death. Do you really still want to go? I'm telling you I will. Man, relax. The protagonist thinks. You should be grateful I'm saving your life. The Valley of Death, as this dungeon is called, is a remnant of the Silver Age, a long forgotten period. 50 years ago, there was a warrior named Claude. At 45, he managed to awaken his aura and went on all sorts of adventures. The tales of his adventures spread throughout the kingdom of Vasily, but fame breeds arrogance. Claude went to the Valley of Death with only a servant and died. The problem is that his demon sword, called Aeon, was also lost there. The demon sword Aeon is the symbol of the Elon family and has been passed down through generations. The family has been striving to recover the sword for all these 50 years. We discovered that the full name of that knight was Stefan von Rapanto Altian. The protagonist thinks maybe he's Claude's grandson. Master, you are so elegant, even without a horse, as expected of a first-rate knight. I feel better hearing that. Lelsha, an elf assassin, is beside him. They will definitely have fun. There's only one saint in the group. What's her name? Scylla. She looks young. Can she really use divine spells? Wait, he's a man. How is he a man? Maybe I should try talking to Todd too. But they're so engrossed in the conversation that I don't want to interrupt. But this atmosphere is strange. Could it be? So he is? No, he's a good guy. No way. You made the right choice. Traveler, you're talking about choosing the path of glory? Actually, it's not very advantageous for me, isn't it? But the village was too scared to take the job, and it's a blessing they are scared. How can they be so scared when the brave knights of the kingdom are accompanying them? Ah, damned knights. There's no knight in this world without an inflated ego. It's impressive. When you become a knight, you automatically become narcissistic. Right. Suddenly, we hear a very loud scream coming from the forest. Several things start flying, and we see they are creatures. When they spread their wings, it's clear they're harpies. They're going to attack the group. It's an ambush. Everyone, form up. The harpy goes all out on the group's leader, but it's the elf who protects him. How dare you, disgusting monsters. Attack us. Knights of Elon, attack. Todd uses his fire magic and burns several harpies at once. The other, who is a priest, uses his spell to aid the other knights. Not bad, huh? Especially Stefan. The kid is better than I expected, from a mage's perspective, of course, because from a martial artist's view, he's pitiful. Meanwhile, we see a group of traveling orcs also being attacked by the harpies. Just as they are about to be attacked, the leading harpy takes a punch to the head and disintegrates. Poor thing. Still, no one is paying attention to me. Immediately, tend to the victims. Are the mage and the priest okay? Yes, sir. Both are fine. And you don't care if I'm okay or or not. Glory to the Knights of Altian. Take your rest and savor this victory. Even with Stefan's overly dramatic speech, the people are falling for it and getting motivated. But Reifenhart isn't buying it. He walks past Todd and says, "By the way, thank you, Mage. I owe my current safety to you." "Ah, it's nothing. I heard you're from the Magic Tower of Deepia. I have a friend there." "Just a friend, by the way. Do you know anyone named Reifenhart?" "Ah, you're talking about Reifenhart? Of course, I know him. I just don't think a guy like him would have a friend as muscular as you. Besides, he's very cute." "I knew it. I knew it. He is. The protagonist thinks, but asks, "But why do you ask?" "Oh, I'm just curious about what he's been up to lately, and if anything strange has been happening, you know." "Well, he's doing fine, learning magic as always." "Have you noticed anything strange about him in the last few years?" "Something strange? What do you mean by that?" "I'm not sure. His little nose is still as sharp as ever, and those bright eyes and soft skin." The protagonist thinks, "My master is also obsessed with male bodies, but this Todd sees it differently. What should I do? Hit him. Kill him right here." But patiently, the protagonist holds back his anger and continues asking if Reifenhart has done anything strange in the past few years. Todd keeps drooling, not answering anything coherently. Then, a priest approaches the protagonist and asks, "Are you hurt anywhere?" "No, I'm actually fine. Why don't you attend to the orcs over there?" The priest actually starts using his healing magic on the orcs. "Oh, priest, we're fine. Relax. We're really fine. No need to worry. Calm down. Stay still while I heal you." "Okay." An arrogant knight from Stefan's group, obviously from Stefan's group, arrives and snaps, "Why are you using your mana to heal these useless orcs? They'll heal on their own in a little while." The priest responds, "They are injured and need help, no matter who they are." Meanwhile, the protagonist thinks that she is genuinely concerned about the orcs' injuries, but she's treating them like pets, like animals that need care. It seems that overcoming these old human values is going to be quite a challenge. The semi-humans still have a long way to go to achieve equality. "Hey, guide, let's go. Clear the path for us." The protagonist gets very angry because no one asked if he was okay. But now, to complete their little mission, they come asking, "Oh, for God's sake, go straight to the left. You'll run into Rio, so be careful." "Why are you saying it like that? Is there a problem?" "No, there isn't." After a few hours of walking through the forest, oh my god, if basilisks and wolves weren't enough, now we've encountered a dozen ogres. Why are there so many monsters in such a small area? Our protagonist thinks, why could that be? Could it be because I left the safe route and am blindly following through the forest? So, Stefan, do you need a break? Everyone, get up. The knights are quite arrogant. The priests lack imagination. But the mages, oh, the mages are very cunning, the protagonist thinks. Luckily, deep down, I'm still a mage. Well, technically, I'm not deceiving them. They were the ones who asked to take the faster route. It's not like I wanted to cause trouble. No way. Ah, now I understand why Sir Claude died around here. I didn't expect so many monsters in such a small area. Just then, Stefan spots something that catches his attention, and they finally find the ancient ruins. We see a large chain of cliffs, and in the middle, an obelisk. Look, this must be the place, without a doubt. Lord Stefan, these are the ruins of Palton. Ruins of what? As the scene zooms in, we see that this obelisk isn't really an obelisk. It's quite technological, and it seems to be the entrance to a dungeon. The doors are massive. We didn't get a sense of scale before, but it's incredibly huge. The entire group enters the dungeon. Here's the entrance. Does it seem safe to enter, my lord? Yes. Okay, let's all go in together then. Our protagonist, thinking about his malicious plans, says to Stefan, "So, I'll wait for you here. Is that so?" "No, you've done your part. You can leave now. But I can't return to the village alone like this, you know." Okay, I'll make sure someone accompanies you for the good work you've done." He thinks, very annoyed. "So you were planning to leave me alone all along, huh? By the sword we carry, let's follow our legacy. Let's retrieve the magical sword of Altian." And the people are excited, feeling motivated. "Let's go, noble knights." Our protagonist says, "Good luck." All right, the dungeon gates start closing. Our protagonist waves goodbye. "Well, now it's time to start my business." The ancient ruins of Palton, shrouded in mystery and infested with various monsters, were originally built in antiquity as a logistics center for armies. Although this point isn't often mentioned, the technology used is extremely advanced even by today's standards. It's been a long time. I used to explore this place with Cirrus. He remembers a moment when they were walking in the dungeon, and Cirrus found a secret passage because a nymph, a spirit, whispered to her where the passage was. We see that the spirits are beautiful and that the technology there is very advanced. I really liked the design of this dungeon. To be honest, I found it very cool. To show his gratitude, Reifenhart, the player, gave her a big kiss and, well, delicate scenes followed. Now in the present, he thinks, why did we do that in the middle of a dungeon? Anyway, if I remember correctly, the code was something about the balance between earth and water. It seems like the answer is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't do anything with this mana restriction in this body. The big flaw of this body is this stupid brain, but he concentrates his mana anyway. Look, it worked, and we see the doors opening in a very stylish manner. Wow, I'm in love with the design of this dungeon. For God's sake, I'd better adjust my clothes here. I don't want them to tear. I paid 10 silver for them. Well, should I test my strength now? He was just warming up when he hears a scream in the distance, followed by several screams. Ah, what's happening? Who are these people screaming everywhere? Wait, now that I think about it, isn't this a secret passage that leads directly to the third underground floor? And the passage is open, which means it's an invasion. Wait, an invasion. I just remembered, this building was used as a military center. It definitely has a security system against intruders. Before, I had Cirrus by my side, so I didn't need to pay much attention because her senses were very sharp. But now, all the Knights of Altion must be down there. Of course, they're going to activate the trap and fall below, right? What a disaster. He isn't sure if he's holding back laughter or nervousness, but it looks like he's holding back laughter. Down below, the situation is dire. One of the Knights of Altion is practically being decapitated. Thomas, what is this thing attacking us? First, we see only the blade of a scythe emerging from the shadows, then a skull staring into the souls of the Knights of Altion. We can't win against this thing, and we realize there isn't just one. There are more of these creatures, each with multiple arms holding different weapons, a massive skull, and 2 horns. How can humans like us possibly win against these demons? The support mage is having the toughest time of his life, healing the wounded. Thank you, mage. Without your magic, we would be dead by now. Although we avoided the collapsing floor, I don't know if we can survive whatever is behind these walls. They are deep in the dungeon, in a darker and more labyrinthine area. Suddenly, the front line takes a massive hit, and everyone is knocked down. It's a monstrum. A monstrum. Be careful. Several soldiers are thrown down the stairs, and the creatures pass through the corridors. It's that same creature with multiple arms, and there's not just one of them. Run for your lives. The priest casts a spell to try to do something, using the power of his staff to burn these demons. It makes sense since he uses divine power. Phylon, grant them your blazing courage. All the knights feel much more powerful and enraged. Todd thinks, my god, how many blessings did she cast on these knights? It's like they're on steroids. Noble Knights of Altion, let's show these monsters our bravery. A fierce battle begins between the demons and the Knights of Altion. Todd also joins the fight with his spells, striking a strange but useful pose, pulling all the weapons from the creatures, leaving them disarmed. The elf assassin, Lelsha, charges in with her 2 swords and swiftly cuts down the first demon. But as she exits the attack, she takes a powerful blow, getting thrown far away, bleeding heavily. You did well. Lelsha, the leader of Altion, advances with his skill, making an X-shaped cut on the demon and finishing it, but remains worried because there are many other demons. I expected no less from you, Lord Stefan, a knight of valor. These vile creatures. Everyone, gather and cover your flanks. This was how Sir Claude died in this dungeon. Suddenly, something even worse appears. A sphere of flames completely covers the dungeon ceiling, demolishing everything in its path. What emerges before them is a flame demon, much larger than the others, spewing fire. With a single attack, it wipes out half of the surviving knights. Do not fear, my knights. You were prepared for this, weren't you? How can you call yourselves the brave Knights of Altion? Meanwhile, everyone fights for their lives. The demon is roaring ferociously, but this time Stefan's speech doesn't work, as the demon is already killing them one by one, and those who can are fleeing. Damn, we can't lose in this place. I won't fall without a fight. For some reason, Stefan charges at the demon. I am a knight of valor. He uses his skill, a precise strike, on the demon, but as his sword pierces the fire, the metal blade simply passes through the demon. The demon responds with a punch to Stefan's face, sending him flying and spitting blood. Stefan is thrown so far he bounces on the ground. After that punch, he's out of the fight, maybe dead or unconscious. The priest uses a powerful spell to try and burn the demon, but the demon looks at him with even more rage. The priest trembles. The demon charges at the priest, and just when he thinks he will be the next victim, something hits the demon hard, sending it flying. When the priest looks to see who saved him, it's our protagonist, in an epic scene, with his aura very powerful. What? Is something wrong? What? He already died with one punch? We see that the poor demon doesn't even have any fire left. It's completely extinguished and beaten. The demon is truly dead. Our protagonist looks unfazed and thinks, no wonder I was on the brink of death when I took a punch from Tesla. He looks back to see if everyone is okay, but they're not. No one is okay. I should move these people to a safe place now. But there's no time for that because more demons are approaching. The priest and Todd are thinking, who is this person? Meanwhile, our protagonist is busy taking down all the demons, all while holding the elf in his arms. After a while, when the protagonist has finished off all the demons single-handedly, Stefan slowly wakes up. So, you've just woken up, haven't you, sir? Stefan is very startled by what what he sees around him. All the demons are dead. What just happened? Oh, about that. What? So he was a fighter this whole time. Ah, forgive me. It seems I didn't recognize a brave man like you. May I ask your name? Oh, my name? My name is Leffen. And our protagonist thinks that Todd might recognize the name Leffenhart. So he says, but just Leffen. Just Leffen. The guy in the back thinks, Leffen. First time I hear that name. He is indeed a very powerful man. How have I never heard of him? May I ask which clan you come from? Clan? No, I don't have a clan. The guy thinks, what? He's a commoner. Just a plebeian. I thought he was a noble child trained by someone, but to think he was such a beastly force. What a disgrace. Yeah, it seems you managed to finish off those we were almost defeating, right? It looks like you have some skills. Your assistance is very welcome. The audacity to call it assistance when the protagonist did everything and killed everyone single-handedly with a punch. But the protagonist doesn't react and says, and you remember the situation very well, don't you? If it happens again, I'll make sure everyone knows you have no skill at all. What? What a rude man. You should show respect to the House of Alon. Take it easy, young master. How would a beastly man like him know any etiquette? Maybe you're right. He doesn't have a clan, does he? So, who was your master? Man, I learned on my own, picking up things here and there. But he remembers Gerard, who taught him everything. The famous training method of the Unbreakable Academy. The protagonist thinks he can't go around saying Gerard was his master because, besides being a very famous magnate, he is the current king of fists. He also thinks he doesn't want anyone to know how he was trained because he only got beaten up. The guy is shocked because the protagonist said he learned by himself. But considering the skills you have, man, do this. Get off my back and take care of your wounded men. The protagonist's informal tone comes naturally. Aren't those men your priority? They are your army. Take better care of your warriors, okay? The guy keeps thinking, but he doesn't seem arrogant or anything like that. His attitude is that of someone who commands. He seems like a person who has subordinates and cares a lot about them. I don't quite believe his story. Maybe he's from the nobility of another continent. What a strange man. Excuse me. Your name is Leffen, right? Mr. Leffen, what is your height? Just curious. I think it's around 1.92 meters. And how much do you weigh? We see the guy is already quite smitten with our protagonist. I don't remember the last time I weighed myself properly. And what kind of training did you do to get a body like that? I just got beaten up a lot, ate a lot, and exercised a lot. The protagonist thinks, why is he being so friendly with me all of a sudden? The priest's name is Silen Phil Marsis. He thinks, as I suspected, a true warrior never reveals his secret. Right. It's explained that he lost his parents very early and went to an orphanage, where he was bullied because of his appearance, and because he was very sick at the time. As a result, he began to yearn for things he didn't have, like a deep voice, a booming laugh, and a healthy, muscular body. He even considered becoming a monk to undergo their training and see if his faith would mold his body to be healthier. But he realized it was very different from his expectations. His height remained the same, puberty never arrived, but his hair grew at an alarming rate. He trained as much as he could to make his body stronger, but the treatment for muscle pain was still very painful, especially since he used divine strength. So, he began to envy people with muscular and healthy bodies. He's there, looking at our protagonist, saying, wow, he's so big, so handsome. The protagonist thinks, why is he looking at me like that? Why is he making that face? I'm going to escort to the dungeon entrance, okay? Clearly, the protagonist is trying to get rid of Silen, but Silen runs after him. Hey, take me with you. And what about the injured people, huh? Go take care of them. Silen feels very depressed because he knows he has to stay. Then, I'll go with him, Stefan responds. Help the others while I'm not here. Yes, master. Is that okay with you, Leffen? Do as you please. They walk back to the dungeon entrance. It's very quiet because the protagonist massacred all the monsters. Stefan is still thinking a lot about what the protagonist said to him. I still can't believe I was helped by such a beastly and wild man. He must be all proud of himself for helping a knight. This behavior he's having now is unacceptable. It's as if he's disrespecting the knights, like they're not a big deal. Arrogant bastard. Let's see how you act when a demon appears. I'll properly demonstrate my skills then, and you'll know your place. Man, this guy is getting mad all by himself. He's so bitter that the protagonist saved him. His ego is so high that even after being saved by the protagonist, he still thinks he's something special. I really hope a demon shows up. The protagonist slaps him on the neck to knock him out. Okay, we're here now, so take a little nap. Soon, two skeletal demons come running down the corridor. These skeletons advance without thinking, very beastly, but they're just weak bone bags. One punch each, the protagonist simply turns them to dust. Now it would be a good idea to grab the treasure for myself, since I dealt with all the mess. And of course, he remembers where the treasure room is, but it's all messed up and turned over. Okay, 50 gold coins. Good. I'm sure it's around here. Great, I found the infinite bag. We see its description. It's an infinite bag that allows you to store items up to 10 times the volume of the bag, and the weight is 1/10 of the total. So, if you put something weighing 10 kilograms, it will weigh 1 kilogram. And there are some more interesting items. The divine brazier, the magic essence sapphire, several expensive items. After a while, Stefan starts waking up again. What happened? You finally woke up. Those things hit your head and you passed out. Stefan, unaware that it was the protagonist who knocked him out, thinks, why aren't things going my way today? Thank you for your help, Leffen. It's nothing, the protagonist thinks. I'm going to have to knock you out several more times. It's explained that while exploring the dungeon, Stefan had to be knocked out about 3 more times. I hope I didn't hit any wrong part of his head. If something goes wrong, I think I'll be fine since he's rich anyway. When Stefan wakes up, he's even more pissed off. Something strange is happening. Why can't I feel anything? Am I sick? My reflexes are gone. I think I should take some medicine when I get home. Meanwhile, the protagonist is all cheerful. I think I should come back later. I can't carry anymore. Looks like the path is clear. Let's go, everyone. And they all leave the dungeon together. Mr. Leffen, are you by any chance of royal blood? Royalty? No, I'm just a peasant. A peasant. But for you to say that, it's strange for a peasant to have such skills. No, that's not it. It's because you talk to people so informally, so naturally. Of course, a warrior has to be confident and all, and I understand the tone you took with Stefan, but I don't think you should speak so informally even with Sir Edward. The protagonist thinks, yeah, really, at this moment I'm only 22 years old. I should be more careful. And he replies, my etiquette isn't the best. I haven't met many people in my life. They finally arrive at the doors of the dungeon boss. When Stefan opens the doors, even the protagonist is impressed with what he sees inside. The first thing he sees is the face of another demon, but this one has a much more beastly appearance, looking like a wolf. The protagonist thinks, damn, it's a grell beast, and this being is much bigger than the others. It only has 2 arms but 4 horns, and is much more muscular. Why is this here? I don't remember seeing a creature like this the last time I came. The demon has been guarding this place all along, Stefan says, desperate. We can't defeat this demon. The protagonist thinks, it seems it hasn't been killed yet, but the creature appears to be chained and bound by some kind of magic. It's better for us to retreat for now. It won't be good to face this creature with so many people here, says the protagonist. But a knight catches Stefan's attention. Sir, look at the sword the demon is holding. It's Claude's magic sword. Young master, you don't think you're going to face this creature, do you? But isn't it obvious? Of course not. It's too dangerous. Now that we've found the location, we can regroup better. What are you saying? Are you telling me to retreat in the face of the sword I've sought for so long? Especially in the hands of a demon. I can't leave here. No matter what. I need that sword at any cost. Even if the sword is being wielded by death itself. All of you, raise your swords. The protagonist just thinks, what an idiot. It's explained that, in the Silver Age, the same era when dimensional rifts were destroyed, there was a system that replenished its missing parts. These creatures that came from the other world were likely summoned by this system, which thought stronger defenses were needed. So, due to this malfunction in defense, they were summoned. In other words, these beings called by the system are known as dungeon guardians, and we see that this one is not very happy. Basically, they are beings from another world who lived freely, but were suddenly pulled into this dungeon and forced to work. These creatures, being from another world, are already very powerful, and even more so. A demon like this, with the power of the system, becomes extremely powerful. The protagonist thinks this demon is so strong that it managed to defeat Claude, who is the owner of the sword they were looking for. And Claude was an aura user. He was very powerful. If a demon more powerful than the Grell beast takes this position, the power of this creature would be unimaginable. While Stefan is there motivating everyone, saying that the demon is chained, the protagonist just says, are you really going to fight this monster? We have no hope of winning. We're all going to die anyway. Thank you for your help. In the end, you're a fierce man without honor. There are things in this world worth giving your life for. The protagonist thinks, no, that's not it. You're not even fit to do that, man. But obviously, Stefan doesn't listen and runs toward the beast. In fact, everyone starts charging at the beast. The protagonist thinks they couldn't even defeat Tagger, the demon that appeared before, and which I defeated with a single punch. How do they expect to defeat this beast? And obviously, Sillin goes to help with his spells because he doesn't want to look bad. So, he casts a blessing to strengthen everyone, and they all attack the demon. Needless to say, this was a bad idea. Right, because the demon simply moves its arm a little and kills 3 of them at once. The protagonist just says, I told you this wouldn't work. Soldiers are flying everywhere. Oh, look, another body is coming. They are taking a massive beating. Warriors, do not lose your morale. We are from the kingdom of Altian. Even demons fear our bravery. The protagonist thinks, I can see what kind of person this Stefan is. He's the type who won't listen to me, no matter how much I talk to him. Sir Edward is a bit more rational. He listens a bit more, and somehow, for some reason, Stefan is still not dead. If I were to praise him, I wouldn't say he's dodging well. He's just a coward. We see that his attacks aren't going directly at the demon. He never faces the demon head-on. Meanwhile, Sillin continues doing his job. This time, he tries to burn the demon. Phalanx, smash this creature's head with your sacred mace. The spell hits the demon and appears to be burning it. Hells is already on top of the demon's head and launches a combined attack with Stefan. The protagonist, analyzing the entire battle, thinks that Hells is indeed very skilled, even better than Sir Edward. She must be the second strongest in this group. Did I underestimate these guys too much? Meanwhile, Todd casts a spell that creates an ice tornado. But now things get ugly. The dungeon changes color as a spell is recited in the background, and the chains and stone that held the demon break. Oh crap, the demon, without thinking, jumps into the middle of the army. Just by stepping on the army, it kills many soldiers, and with its claws and chains, it tears through the flesh of all the soldiers in front of it. Meanwhile, Stefan is on top of the demon's head. Die by my hands, Grellbeast. But of course, he just takes a punch to the stomach and spits enough blood to donate to someone. Young Master Stefan. We see Stefan being thrown far away, but even all beaten up, he's still alive. We might think he's weak and lacks skills, but he is resilient. He takes hits and doesn't die. As they say, bad grass never dies. Now, Hells, who seems much more skilled, tries to attack, but even that isn't enough for this demon. It prepares a breath of flames, and it's not just a puff. A torrent of flames falls on the battlefield like lava. The soldiers have nowhere to run. The entire battlefield starts being decimated. When Sillin is about to be hit, our protagonist steps in to defend him with his own hands. With his hand, he simply dissipates the flaming energy. Sorry, I was a bit in shock, so I reacted slowly. Now, the protagonist faces the demon. This will be good to watch. The Grellbeast. Can I handle this? Honestly, I'm quite curious to see how strong I am now. Can this body deal with this demon? In my days as a mage, I always avoided bets I knew I couldn't win. But now I'm a fighter. I've never been so enthusiastic about getting strong in my life. Not even in my past life did I feel this. It seems I'm a true warrior now. Master will be proud when he sees this. In an uncertain situation like this, you should attack first. He uses a Kai blast on the demon's chest. The demon retaliates, but the protagonist dodges. One attack grazes his right shoulder. My body repels even metal, but it gets injured by a magic sword. The beast doesn't stop and prepares to kick the protagonist. He takes the hit to the stomach with such force that he spits blood and is thrown far away. Even Sillin is worried about him, and he's the one who heals people. Ah, I'm fine. He emerges from the cracked wall, but he's still in one piece. By the gods. So this is the power of someone who uses aura. The protagonist thinks, I had to withstand that attack without even a chance to counterattack. But it seems I've learned how to dodge after taking so many hits from my master, right? In this fight, I can't be hasty. I need to calm down and organize my skills. The demon starts speaking a strange language towards the protagonist, as if it's yelling or cursing him. I have no idea what you're saying, but let's do this. The two begin exchanging punches frenetically, like a battle out of Dragon Ball. Stefan is impressed with the protagonist's aura. A man with a poor life, no clan, no fame. He can use aura, and I, a noble, can't. Meanwhile, the protagonist stands firm, landing blows on the beast. What is this? It's impossible. Who is this man? The beast is screaming more and more, but now we don't know if it's out of rage or pain, because the protagonist is beating it to a pulp. What the hell is this man? Where did he come from? Is he a monster? The protagonist is simply pounding the beast's face. Of course, it retaliates and slams its sword into the ground. The protagonist dodges, because if it had hit him. Now, fighting you, Grellbeast. I realize how significant my training was. I can read each of your attacks as if you were an open book to me. While the demon is still pulling the sword out of the ground, the protagonist takes advantage of the opening and delivers an uppercut that tears off the beast's arm, the one holding the sword. The guardians of the ruins won't fall from such light wounds. The ruins, using mana, have the power to heal them. We see the beast completely regenerate, and the first thing it does is rush at the protagonist to spit fire at him. After the protagonist dodges it, he says, "Alright, now the party starts. Joint lock training, aerial combat training." He delivers a powerful kick to the demon's face. Accuracy training. This is the best punching bag I've ever had in my life. The poor demon doesn't even have time to breathe. While he's trading blows, all the surviving soldiers stand up and watch. Ah, I can't keep playing here forever. Should I use the Horn of Calamity and finish this in one blow? No. If I do that, this place will completely collapse and we'll be buried alive. It's so annoying to have to consider these things. Todd starts telling him to use his aura on the sword. The protagonist thinks, "You think I don't know that works?" But he says, "I don't know how to do that." "What are you talking about? I can only channel the aura into my body. That's how my master taught me." Sillin yells at him. "Now, Leffen, what do you want now?" The protagonist is being distracted, having to talk while fighting fighting. Your body is resilient, isn't it? I think it's enough then. Alright, I'll cast the spell on you now. The Blessing of Phalanx. When he uses this blessing on the protagonist, he feels intense pain, but after the pain, he gets very angry and simply executes a judo throw on the demon. Look at the size of the beast he grabs and throws against the dungeon wall. The protagonist thinks he just used a spell meant for metal on my body. Meanwhile, Sillin is excited. Let's go now. Let's finish this. He runs like he's in a marathon, with everyone cheering him on. As he attacks, pink sparkles fly out from his hips. Sacred kick, sacred knee, and finally, sacred punch. This energy is so powerful that it lifts debris off the ground, and the demon is simply obliterated. The Grell beast is shattered into pieces. At that moment, the protagonist strikes a pose after defeating the beast, which makes Sillin fall completely in love with him. Now we're in trouble. The energy emanating from the fight dissipates. It's over quickly. Undo the spell. You said your name is Leffen. You hid your identity and deceived us. Are you mocking us? I admit you're strong, but I won't forgive you for ruining our honor. Did you enjoy mocking us? Mocking? I never did that to anyone, thinks the protagonist. I could only mock someone if I paid attention to them, and I never paid attention to you. The guy simply tries to attack the protagonist, but the protagonist grabs the sword that the demon dropped. The attacker misses entirely and pathetically rolls across the ground. You bastard, how dare you dodge my attack? Hey, calm down, man. I never meant to mock you. Now take this. You caused all this trouble just to get this, right? Yes, sir. This shows he has no greed. He just gave you the treasure. He is undoubtedly a strong person, but the other remains resentful. I'm already tired of this guy, honestly. Just get him out of the story already. For God's sake, the protagonist thinks. Greed? What greed? That weapon is second-rate compared to the ones my subordinates used, so let's head back. We have nothing more to resolve here, right? Yes, let's do that. Now, in Cattle Village, Sillin takes the opportunity to help the residents. At the moment, he is healing a baby. First, he healed the sick, and now he is distributing gold in the town. He really knows how to promote himself. Compared to the notoriety the Church of Phalanx will gain now. This is just small change. We see Stefan and the army of Altian leaving. Sir Edward, I think we should request an investigation into this Leffen we encountered here. I knew you'd be interested in him. He truly has remarkable skills. Stefan thinks, there's no way I'm going to lag behind him in terms of strength. The protagonist is also moving on. Okay, let's find the series. But anyway, why are you still following me? You know, there are several priests who travel the world showing the grace of their religion, right? Yeah, I know. They're called pilgrims, right? The protagonist thinks, and most of them die along the way. I originally thought of returning to the church, but I embraced this opportunity to become a pilgrim. And also, I would really like to travel with you, the strongest person I know. Why is he looking at me like that? He reminds me a lot of Todd and Gerald. It seems like he's only interested in my body. Am I cursed or something? Am I attractive to weirdos? Well, at least he seems like a good person, so if I politely refuse. But come to think of it, he's a priest, right? Oh, he's a walking first aid kit. The series might get injured, so having someone who can take care of her is great. Well, Sillin, do as you wish. Sillin thinks, I'll follow you. Meanwhile, he asks, but hey, how do you train your abs? I wanted to train my upper and lower abs a bit. How do you do it? I have no idea. I'm used to just getting beaten and lifting stones. Oh, and from what I heard, a famous alchemist made a muscle medication. It's called protein. I'm not interested in that, thanks, man. The guy just refused protein. Meanwhile, in what looks like a palace, a very fancy mansion, we hear a man complaining loudly from the corridors. I'm sorry, Lord Barrett. I really tried my best. You should have brought an elf who would willingly give her body and mind to her master. He is the leader of the Karen Trade Union. Barrett, I knew there was something strange about such a cheap slave. How can she show so much arrogance being a mere elf? I was born this way, and those arrogant eyes, I was born with these eyes. Butler, next time bring me something truly good that's worth the price. She's a complete defect. Deal with this defect now. Meanwhile, in the depths of the elf slave trading center in the Shatton market, an elf girl identified with the number 148 was returned for the third time. Our protagonist is arriving in Shatton. He just needs to pass through 2 more places. The Principality of Shatton is a commercial country located at the highest point of the continent. Because it borders several other countries, this country has been experiencing rapid growth. The means for all this activity is the Jurin River, which crosses the entire continent. In short, this country is like a commercial hub. Now our protagonist has arrived at what seems to be the heart of commerce, the country's capital, Zeppelin. It's a typical medieval city, not very flashy, but very bustling. I can see now why this city is a commercial center. It's very busy. People say this is the richest country commercially, and that it was built because an island was bought by the Kingdom of Grimy. That's why this place is full of merchants, beneficiaries, and the most greedy people possible. impossible, he thinks, and the series is also here. Slow down a bit, you're showing your long legs. We see what appears to be a wealthy man, a bourgeois, hitting a beggar. And that guy is Tarek. He's the leader of the Rolofane assembly, and he's very angry because apparently the beggar was insolent to him. Tarek starts beating the beggar, but then throws 30 gold coins on him, saying, 30 coins should be enough for the 30 blows I gave you obviously. Sillin is shocked by this, but our protagonist isn't. Sillin goes to heal the beggar, asking, are you alright, sir? Thank you very much. We need to call someone to deal with this man. Where are the guards? No, it's okay. This is enough, says the beggar, picking up each coin from the ground. What? You're letting him go just because he paid? Sillin exclaims. I told you, Sillin, this place is very greedy. I thought I'd traveled the whole world, but this place is completely different from anything I've ever seen. Here, the only form of punishment is fines. There's no point in having a jail if everyone pays to get out of their problem. Honestly, what did we come to do in a town like this? The protagonist responds, I came to buy. Buy what? Asks Sillin, sweating and all nervous. I came to buy an elf. So, in the end, you were that kind of person. No, but it's not for the reason you're thinking. Okay, then what is it? The protagonist explains, knowing he can't reveal his past life. Let's just say you're right. Men, you talk as if you're not a man. Oh, really? Huh, responds the protagonist. In the next scene, we see a place with an entrance shaped like a teapot with a little bunny on top. At this moment, we see that fat guy who had beaten the beggar along with some elf girls, and suddenly something catches his attention. Beret, you've been around for a long time, says Tarek. Hey, what's up? Beret, where's the slave you bought recently? About that. I returned her about 15 days ago because she refused to listen to me, responds Beret. You can't tame a mere slave, Carol. You'll never get out of the 10th place in the principality with miserable people like you here. And you think you can do better. I wasn't the first person to return her, and it wasn't a problem. She was very cheap, says Beret, thoughtfully. If I can tame an elf that's considered a defect, I want to see the look on his face. Looks like I'll have to make a visit to Elfenheim next time I'm nearby. Meanwhile, at an inn, our protagonist is dismayed by a horrendous sight. What are you doing there? Asks the protagonist. I'm exercising, replies Sillin. Oh my god, he is really skinny. He seems to be trying so hard. Why isn't he gaining muscle? He looks even skinnier than I was in my previous life, thinks the protagonist. Sillin, you don't need to push yourself so much. What will you do if you can't move because of muscle pain? Don't worry, I won't delay your journey, responds Sillin, healing himself with his own magic. Okay, now I understand why he's not gaining muscle. Healing magic is like turning back time. If you damage your muscles to regenerate and grow, but then use healing magic, it reverts to the original state. He's undoing all his hard work. What an idiot. Sillin, why did you just reverse all the work you did? Did I do something wrong? No, it's nothing. I'll teach you the proper training method later, okay? But don't you find that long hair bothersome during training? My hair grows very fast. Even if I cut it, it grows back quickly. Strange, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to buy the slave now. I got a lot of money after selling the relics I picked up in the dungeon. Hey, take me with you, exclaims Sillin. It's explained that this slave market has a great diversity of races. Obviously, the most popular are the elves because their appearance is very beautiful by human standards. Naturally, they have a higher price than dwarves or orcs. Therefore, elf assassins or hunters are very expensive. We see a price list. An elf hunter or assassin costs about 800 gold coins. An elf woman 900 gold coins. An elf girl 100 gold coins. An elf boy usually costs 30 gold coins. An orc warrior 10 gold coins. And a regular orc 5 gold coins. An orc baby also costs 5 gold coins. And male elves are not sold because they have a high suicide rate. The popularity of elves comes from the fact that they live 4 times longer than any human success. But their childhood is also 4 times longer. That joke about an old man marrying a young person has never been more real than now. I heard that Elfenheim has a 300-year tradition specializing in elves, thinks the protagonist. They named a slave hall Elfenheim, which is the name of the elf paradise. That's really ironic. Actually, it's my first time coming here. It seems better than the orc market, right? No matter how good their treatment is, they are still slavers. Do you think they are happy? Yeah, but usually, they all live in the forest. Wouldn't it be better to be taken by a human and not worry about hunger, thirst, or cold, responds Sillin. The protagonist thinks, that's the perspective of most humans. No matter how much you coerce them with power, their perspective will never change. They will only start to feel fear. I need a different way to build my empire in this life, different from the invasion I received. Not an empire of darkness with a demon king, but a country with different races that embraces them. Dear customers, sorry for the delay. Here are the Elfenheim slaves that we are very proud to show, announces the vendor. The protagonist remains calm, but Sillin gets all flustered. That was too much for the little girl. Sorry, it's not a girl. Man, it's not a girl, corrects the protagonist, thinking. To think that the descendants of the great spirits would be like this. Do you have any elves with darker skin? You have quite a peculiar taste. Don't like fair skin. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. You just judged everyone who enslaves elves. But now you're focusing on appearance. Yes, we do have elves that match your conditions. Follow me. They walk through long corridors. Here at Elfenheim, our elves perform the appropriate exercises for their bodies, and we develop various products with unique methods. They are always fed fresh food. Our protagonist grows impatient. Enough with the explanations. Let's get on with it. The guide gets intimidated. I'm here to see number 148. These are the hunter candidates who haven't grown enough yet, so we are training them in combat. We have the female product I'd like to show you. Our protagonist begins to cry upon seeing the scene. We see Cirrus practicing combat. In the next scene, we see a flashback. They are in the alchemical lab. Lord Reifenhart, you can't mix those two. We see him mixing two liquids in test tubes, and the lab explodes. I told you it would explode. Why do you think it's exploding? Reifenhart, you mixed a flame herb with a seedling. Ah, well, forgive me. I thought it would work. That's what you said yesterday, and it exploded too. Come here, Lord Reifenhart. Your face is covered in soot. How long do you intend to call me Lord? You can call me by my name. I can't do that. Our protagonist begins to remember the day Antares fell. He watches the chaos while the four kings bow to him. I would like to say goodbye, Your Majesty. What are those looks? It's like you're seeing a dead man. Humanity brought over 2 million men to defeat me. It seems like it's all the strength they have. I wonder what will happen after this. They will ruin their entire country for just one war. That's how much they despise our existence. Majesty, you really won't come with us. The chance you have to escape is only possible if I stay here in Garat. My apologies. Dwarf, your god did much for me, but I ended up failing in the end. It's explained that Dwarf, the god of the dwarves, has a prophecy. The one with the elf by his side, led by an orc who entered the abyss of Damien, will one day emerge and break the pillar of HCW. This person will distort destiny and ensure redemption. Nowadays, this makes a lot of sense because our current protagonist is following this path closely. I was very surprised. I destroyed half the temple, but the dwarves said I was a kind of deity. Instead of being angry with me, back then I knew nothing. Dwarf, bless you, Your Majesty. I hope to see you again someday. I hope the same. Goodbye, Tathit, Gurid Athelka. I hope you both fare well too. Cirrus, you must go now. I'll be waiting for you. Lord Reifenhart, we never know what fate awaits us. If something happens to me, I want you to find someone good for yourself. I will wait for you. They share one last goodbye kiss. Back in the present, we continue hearing the guide. He explains that Cirrus is difficult to handle, lacks discipline, but is very strong and has a keen sense of combat. So, dear young man, will you buy this child? Of course, I will. I don't know why his tastes are so specific. Typical of a pervert. She will cost 300 gold coins. 300 coins? Why is she cheaper than the others? She's not a very good product for us. She has been returned several times. So, you're my new master, Cirrus asks. Our protagonist thinks she must have suffered a lot here. Would you like me to call a priest to heal your wounds? No need. Sillin, do what you do best. It's going to be cold tonight. I'll buy clothes for you, so cover yourself with this for now. You don't have a name yet, right? No, I don't. How about Cirrus? Understood. It's a good name. Do you like it? My name is now Cirrus. I'll remember that. From now on, you are Cirrus Valencia. But sir, an elf doesn't need a surname. Is that the name of your family? No, but it's the name you should have. My name is Reifenhart, and this is Sillin, a cleric. Understood. A while later, number 148. She was sold an hour ago. What? Did Beret decide to cancel my plans and buy her again? No, the buyer wasn't Lord Beret. It was a man I've never seen before. Do you know the buyer's name? He paid in solid gold, so I don't have much information. Someone came with a bag of gold to buy an elf. I thought she was defective, so I sold her cheaply. At least tell me what he looks like. He's a colossal man. You'll know him when you see him. At this moment, our protagonist looks at Cirrus in her new outfit. I think this will do for now. I'll buy you better clothes later. Are you hungry? Do as you wish, master. Anyway, don't think of me as your master. Are you going to return me? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Cirrus thinks, what's with this man? He gave me his clothes and now bought expensive clothes for me. He treats me as if I were a human woman. I just want you to treat me as a traveling companion, okay? So call me by my name instead of master. So that's what he wants, huh? He's a pervert with a fetish for old adventures, trying to be a hero walking beside a swordswoman, like in the old tales. All right, sir, I'll call you Lord Reifenhart. In the next scene, Cirrus is already stuffing herself. Anyway, humans are always the same in the end. They say this restaurant here, Edante's Grace, is the most popular in Zeppelin. There's something about their religion that the goddess blesses the food or something. If the food is blessed, why don't they give it away for free? What are you talking about? The Church of Philan also asks for money. It's completely different. This love and beauty just for selling isn't part of our doctrine. different. Is that so? I heard you were carrying a lot of gold. Is that true? While Sillin is defeated in the argument, our protagonist notices Cirrus, who is eating voraciously. When she realizes she's being watched while eating, she straightens her posture and starts eating more politely. Does she not like being watched while eating? He wonders. This place too. In my other life, she suggested this place for our first date. In the past, I met her as her savior. This time, I bought her. The difference is just one word, but it changes everything completely. Did I come to meet her too soon? Well, I hope she understands my intentions one day. This is enough for now. After that, they walk down the street and stop at a weapon shop, or rather, a stall. Cirrus picks up a rapier to take a look, and the protagonist comments, "A rapier? But didn't you use a scimitar?" Cirrus thinks, how does he know that? Oops, I think I messed up. After leaving the shop to get out of that situation, he asks Sillin why he bought a weapon if he is a priest. But something else catches the protagonist's attention. A group of men, all in uniform, approaches him. "We would like to have a word with you." The protagonist doesn't seem too pleased. "This is going to be trouble. What do you want?" "A noble wants to buy the elf you have with you." "What's your argument?" "Sell us the elf, and you will be highly rewarded." They hand a letter to the protagonist. "If you want, we can exchange the elf for an even more valuable one. But first, accept this as a form of payment." "No, thank you." "Are you rejecting our offer?" "Exactly. I think you didn't understand. I didn't say you would be generously compensated for this. And you don't understand what no thank you means, do you? What a peculiar man. I guess I can't help then. It seems you have a great fondness for this elf, don't you?" As they leave, the protagonist says, "Who the hell are those guys? Oh, I can't believe this nonsense." Meanwhile, at night, at that jerk's mansion, he was complaining that the guy refused the offer, and the team leader explains to him that the guy wouldn't budge at all. He even talks about kidnapping the elf and waiting for the right opportunity. He even suggests selling her again, but at a higher price. And obviously, the fat jerk agrees. Let's see how that goes. Now in the morning, at the inn where the protagonist is, he looks at the last gold coins he has. 2,000 gold coins. Much more gold than I expected. Anyway, it's not enough to rebuild the empire. What if I invest these coins somewhere? I think I know a good place to start investing. The neighboring kingdom of Kobin is struggling because of the people's famine. It's explained that Kobin was once the kingdom of agriculture, thanks to its fertile land and abundant harvests. They claim to be blessed by the goddess of the earth, Ledin, and never prepared for a time of famine. The protagonist thinks, but in the following spring, many deaths occurred, and a large number of people died of hunger or despair from seeing their parents eat their own dead children. It seems now is the right time to invest before this calamity happens. There are 3 trade unions that come to mind: Rolifane, Khan, and Tiban. I won't invest in Rolifane for numerous reasons, and the leader is also a pervert. I'll probably go with Tiban because it directly competes with Rolifane. In the next scene, we see the office of the Tiban union leader, who is very worried and stressed because they are sinking deeper while Rolifane is growing more and more. A visitor arrives at the door, and the leader's subordinate says he is offering 1,500 gold coins. "I would like to invest 1,500 gold coins in grain storage facilities." To explain, this is probably a place that stores grains for this period of famine so that people do not starve. "The place I want to invest in is the kingdom of Kobin." "Oh, excuse me, sir. Did you say the kingdom of Kobin?" "Selling grains to the kingdom of Kobin is like selling soap to orcs. Sir, they won't use it. Orcs will eventually adapt to soap." "Never mind. Forget what I said. If things don't work out, I'll be the only one bearing the loss. But if you do nothing, you won't receive any benefits either. So, don't you want to bet with me? You won't lose anything in this deal." "But sir, I can't recommend to my client an investment that I know will fail. I just want you to reconsider. If you're not interested, I can simply go to another trading union." "Oh, wait, sir. To tell you the truth, my union is not doing well, but the money you are offering will help me a lot. So, I would like to suggest a different investment for you." Our protagonist thinks, in my other life, this guy was also very stubborn. I guess it's in his nature. The money is mine. I decide how to use it. So quickly, get the contract. And there's one condition. Don't spend my money on anything else. "Oh, of course, sir. By the way, I heard you have a branch in the kingdom of Gren, right?" "Yes, we have a trade route near there." "Do you happen to have a branch near the Dipia Tower?" "No, we don't. But on the way there, we pass by Dipia. Could you investigate someone for me then, if you provide the details?" "Sure." Our protagonist thinks, I think I'll take this opportunity to find out what Teslan is doing with my body. In the next scene, we return to the inn, and Cirrus is testing the dagger that Sillin bought. Cirrus seems to be highly skilled with the dagger. In fact, she seems to be skilled with any weapon. While Cirrus was fighting, flashbacks ran through her mind. She remembered when she was happy with her mother before seeing her kingdom destroyed. The memory of the devastation left her desolate. After that, she was sold as a slave and suffered a lot. Other elves bullied her, and she was ridiculed even even by her own race. Alone, she learned to handle a sword and any other weapon that was enough to protect herself. Wielding swords reminded her of her parents and brought her dignity and honor. Despite the passage of time, a phrase from her mother still echoed in her mind. "My dear daughter, you must never lose your dignity." As Cirrus focused on her memories, she performed with the dagger. Sillon applauded, impressed. "That was amazing. How do you move like that?" "With a lot of hard work." "Oh, you give the same answer as that brute." "You martial artists all have the same answers." "I don't think so." "So, how do you do it?" Suddenly, someone caught their attention. "So there you are. Elf, come here. I will take you to your real master." But Cirrus did not back down. The girl reflects. "And who would you be anyway? I think it's best you don't expect anyone to come to your rescue. We've taken the necessary measures to ensure that won't happen. We've made it clear we're not selling her. Why all the fuss? You reckless brat." The man advanced with his sword, but Cirrus shielded Sillon and, with a swift move, slashed the attacker's neck. The others attacked like the Three Stooges, but Cirrus was ready and took them down one by one. "You were supposed to be just a mere slave, but you're incredibly strong. Oh, Phalanx, unleash your wrath upon these wrongdoers." Sillon's ritual was interrupted by a thrown dagger. "Stay out of this, priest. Killing you is like taking candy from a baby." "Ah, that damn." "Don't worry, Sillon." Cirrus was already prepared to kill another attacker. The man, realizing he couldn't handle Cirrus alone, called for reinforcements. "Time to work, Takata." "Yes, master." Sillon thought. "Damn, an orc. Takata is going to work now and capture the cell." "Sorry, but it's our destiny." Cirrus knew he was more skilled than the humans. Takata assured, "Tada won't hurt you. Tada will just catch you." The attack came straight at Cirrus's face, but the blade changed course and pushed her back. He was indeed skilled. "Damn, he's strong. I shouldn't have left my scimitar in the room." Thinking that, Cirrus attacked with a dagger, but it was a feint to deceive the orc. She managed to cut his neck armor, drawing blood. "I almost killed her if I hadn't changed direction," Takata thought. Cirrus thought, "This only worked because I trusted the orc's skills." "Sillon, can you protect me here? Then let's do this. I told you not to get involved." The attacker prepared to throw another dagger at Sillon, but Cirrus intercepted with her own dagger. "Oh, Phalanx, unleash your fury on these bastards." Cirrus was surprised by Sillon's power, and the attacker became desperate. Phalanx's staff caused a massive explosion in the area. Divine power only works against the undead, but this should buy us some time. "Let's go." "Ah, okay." Cirrus pulled Sillon with her, threw a dagger at the wall, used it as leverage, and jumped out the window. "Takata, go after them." The leader of the kidnappers was furious. "What is happening here? Huh? You failed again? You can't even capture a slave elf." "Sir, she proved to be stronger than expected." Even Takata had trouble. "Isn't she a hunter elf? She should at least find it challenging to fight a warrior orc. So, I guess I need to prove my worth here, don't I?" "Where did they go?" "That way, sir." "Okay." In the blink of an eye, Lantas was in the air and entered through the hole in the window. He leaped to the height of a building with minimal effort. So this is the power of an aura user. How nostalgic, playing hide and seek. Meanwhile, Cirrus and Sillon were trying to escape the building. "Let's go back to our room and get the equipment. There should be people there too. We can handle 1 or 2 people, right? And it's better than running around with just a dagger." "Oh, you think so?" Cirrus thought. "I thought he was just a kid who didn't know anything." The guard passing by in the hallway didn't even notice what was happening, but found himself facing Cirrus, about to stomp on his face. She did exactly that, leaving a clear mark of her shoe on his face. Mercy, the guy even fell with the shoe mark on his face. You can even tell her shoe size. "We don't have time to get clothes. Let's go." "Phalanx, please erase our tracks and save us from danger. Let your breath shine upon us." Sillon's magic tidied up the room, eliminating traces that they had been there. Meanwhile, Lantas was scouring the corridors. His name was Lantas, a swordsman knight who had awakened his aura. Aura users can clearly see any living being within a 30-meter radius, as if they had X-ray or thermal vision. "I didn't expect that kid to be able to use a technique to erase tracks," thought Lantas as he broke down the door. "They've already gone outside." "Where are they, Sir Lantas? Did we lose them?" "Keep quiet. They can't have gone too far." They had a wide view of the city, now with the sun setting. "Wouldn't it be better to go through the streets?" "No, we need to avoid people as much as possible. If word gets out that slaves are running through the streets, we'll become enemies of the entire city." Sillon thought, "Ah, the church really is better. Now I understand why the pilgrims were dying one by one. But if I give up and go back to the church now, I'll be caught by her again. No, I won't go back with this poor body I have. Oh, if only Lef were here. That strong man would have already taken care of this." "Where did he go? Is Sir Lefat really that strong?" "The first thing we need to do is meet up with him." "Oh, Phalanx, your kind protection grants me a thread of fate. Please pray for us and lead the way to him." The exception of destiny. Several bright pink threads of Sillon's magic spread throughout the city. destiny. What changed fate was love. With love involved, the coincidences of destiny became more likely. A man finds a woman more easily, and miraculous coincidences become reality. Unlikely coincidences become destiny with Philanence's blessing. This spell was used to find soulmates, but the situation was desperate. Cirrus, you seem super strong too, despite the only other hunter elf I knew. Hells, I think you're quite strong, but Scylla, don't think of yourself as weak. You're a high-level priest at your age. Scylla thought with the prejudice of any human in this world. It's fascinating how it feels like I'm talking to another human and not an elf. Or is Cirrus different from the others? This is the place, Scylla. That's what my magic said. They were in a strange area, with some fallen towers like ruins. The two encountered not their protagonist, but Lantis. Scylla, this isn't Sir Reifenhart. At last, I found you, rookies. Thanks to you, I got some exercise. Are you going to run away again? I wouldn't recommend it. The first thing Cirrus did was the opposite. She charged at him. She thought that turning their backs would be worse. There was only one answer: cut down the enemy before he cut them. But Lantis wasn't just anyone. When she blinked, he was already behind her. Those aren't the skills of a novice elf. You have a lot of talent. It seems like you're really making an effort. You're a very rare slave, Cirrus thought. What kind of human is this? She thought that with that level of speed, he must be a high-level knight or swordsman. How did a guy like this get involved in this? Oh, Philanence, grant the bravery of a lion to your servant. Grant the power of a giant to the one who wields the sword. Make his eyes as powerful as an eagle's, and his legs as strong as a bull's to defeat the enemy. Cirrus's sword began to glow intensely. Is this a divine strike? He placed so many blessings at once. This kid is at the level of a bishop. When I left the church, I was still very high ranking. Now go, Cirrus, take him down. Okay, Scylla, just because a priest granted you a few blessings, you think you're completely different. Go for it, Cirrus. But Cirrus's blade was split in half, leaving her shocked and severely wounded from the attack. Just because I was toying with you? Don't start getting cocky. Scylla was utterly shocked. An aura user? Did I use my aura against a mere slave? Is there an aura user here? An aura user can be treated well by anyone wherever he goes. Sending a guy like that to capture an elf? Who would do such a thing? Did you catch her, Sir Lantis? Oh, so you heard my name. It's explained that his name is Lantis von Kalpenard, the highest-ranking knight in the entire kingdom of Taken. He hails from a famous family and was skilled enough in martial arts to awaken his aura at the age of 30. The people of Taken were very pleased to have an aura user in their kingdom. However, Lantis has a dark secret. He has terrible tastes that cannot be described in words. His evil deeds began with enslaved elves and extended to the nobles of the kingdom, making him Taken's greatest shame. He was hiding in the Principality of Shatten. It seems you know me very well, don't you? Of course I do. How many times did I hear as a child that I would be kidnapped by Lantis if I left my room at night? You really are a filthy bastard, just like the rumors say. Anyway, I'm being paid to do this. I ran from that kingdom where I killed hundreds of people. It's been a while since I played hide and seek. The guard who started all this thought that Lantis was a great deal for the principality because he is very powerful, but can't show his face in the capital of the kingdom. So, he ended up in the principality with not even that high a salary. It was only for this reason that the Rolofane assembly could rank second among all the assemblies. Thanks to Lantis. I should seal your divine power for a while, because I know very well what a bishop of your level can do alone, Lantis said, shooting at various points on Scylla's body. Sir Lantis, be careful not to hurt the elf. Sir Tarek will get angry about that. Can't we just bring a priest to heal her? Isn't that easier? Looking at this priest, she seems quite beautiful, doesn't she? Let's take her too. I'm a man, you idiot. The guard thought, this man again? No, a man. It seems I feel this differently. I'll treat you very well. Don't worry. Don't come any closer. You'll never get your hands on my body. Scylla cut off the guard's hand, leaving Lantis startled. You two are just standing there. How did you get up without healing magic? It's going to be a great loss, but I think I should cut your limbs off right now. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurred behind the guards. Scylla felt relieved. I found you, bastards. Sir Reifenhart, you dared to go after Cirrus. Our protagonist brought such a strong gust of wind that everyone felt it. He was taking off his coat as he approached Scylla. Who is this brat? This guy doesn't seem normal. He has the aura of the mountains about him. Where does this presence come from? Sir, he's the one who bought the slave. You didn't mention he was just a brat. My instincts are warning me a lot about him. Are you saying he's just a brat? He's so skilled. He's an aura user too. But how did such a young boy get an aura? Thanks for protecting Cirrus. It's been a while since I've met someone as strong as you. Stop pretending to be a knight. You're just a disgusting bastard. Bring it on, you jerk. Lantis didn't hesitate and charged forward. Our protagonist was furious, tearing up the ground as he advanced. When their auras clashed, it was clear how powerful this battle would be. A massive explosion occurred, showing showing that our protagonist's aura was stronger. He was also much bigger than Lantis, and the fight was intense. Meanwhile, the guards in the background were panicking. Shouldn't we get out of here, sir? We'll find you once we've captured the elf. In the meantime, even Cirrus woke up, while the protagonist continued brawling with Lantis. Reifenhart is an aura user, Sillin thought. Cirrus was impressed by the fight, while Lantis was struggling, thinking, who is this bastard? These skills aren't from someone who just got their aura. He tried a direct attack on the protagonist's face, forcing him to retreat, but then used a Kai explosion. How can he handle this amount of aura? He probably got his aura in his teens. This doesn't make any sense. The protagonist had similar thoughts. Damn, why is he so strong? How can a promiscuous worm like him, who tried to lay his hands on Cirrus, be so precise? From now on, I'll punch anyone who says martial arts improve character. While thinking, he defended against all of Lantis's attacks until he gave up hitting and climbed onto a pillar. He managed to block all my attacks with his arms. These skills are beyond pressure. Are you, by any chance, a student of Gerald, the Fist King? The protagonist didn't respond. I don't understand why people of your caliber are so attached to a mere slave. Who are you calling a slave? Those you call slaves also have emotions and rationality. Have you ever cared to listen to the stories they have to tell? Have you ever stopped to think about why they are enslaved? He launched an attack that completely shattered the pillar Lantis was on. I don't understand this nonsense you're spouting. As he ran toward Lantis, the protagonist thought, everyone in my past life had the same reaction. This opinion is ingrained in humanity, a deeply structural conviction that humans are superior to other races. They are incapable of understanding other beings who also laugh, also cry. What makes humans superior to the elves you enslave? Is it normal for humans chosen by our God to enslave other races? That's the principle that benefits them, if they are our slaves, and if the descendants of the fairies are destined for this. Have you ever considered that if it weren't us humans dominating this world, another race might have enslaved us? Meanwhile, Lantis tried to cut the protagonist, who ignored the attacks. Despite being completely cut and bleeding, he didn't give up. When all other races are enslaved except humans, they celebrate just for being human. If other races can be enslaved, we humans can be enslaved one day too. You've lost your mind. How dare you compare us humans to elves? The protagonist struck the ground with tremendous force. Cirrus is not a slave. He threw punches so powerful that if one hit Lantis, it would be devastating. It's explained that with this deeply rooted system of slavery in society, powerless and vulnerable beings are condemned to a life of slavery until they die. This is the essence of slavery. Whenever a flawed ideology takes root in society, it will come back to haunt you. However, humans are foolish and don't realize this. One day, it will happen to them. Lantis's face is already smashed into the wall. Therefore, we need to change. The protagonist looks like a monster, no matter what. At that moment, Lantis is terrified. The protagonist lands a punch so powerful that Lantis spits blood and is thrown far away. I will change this world at all costs and won't let anyone call Cirrus a slave. I will ensure that no one else is enslaved around me. I will change this world for her. Cirrus thinks. He's lost his mind. I thought what he said was insane. An elf that isn't a slave. Is this guy really so immersed in his role? How perverted can this Reifenhart be? She remembers her mother saying they are descendants of the great fairy. Even pondering, she still thinks the protagonist is a creep who only bought her to fulfill a fantasy. Meanwhile, the protagonist approaches Lantis, who is badly injured. Help me. Why would I spare a degenerate like you? I swear by my sword that I will spend the next few years redeeming my sins. Judging by your face, it doesn't look like you're lying. Of course not. I simply abhor this kind of thing. You commit all sorts of sins and atrocities and think it's okay if you confess. If you truly repent, why do you need to go to the temple? I will turn myself in. I surrender. There's no reason for you to dirty your hands with me, right? My hands are already dirty enough with blood anyway. I believe your words. Lantis gives a weak smile. But if you truly repented, you would consider that someone deserves to die, right? Of course, dying quickly to pay for your sins. You haven't reflected on that. Sillin and Cirrus are shocked to see the protagonist crush Lantis with the debris. Don't say you repent so easily, because it means nothing coming from a bastard like you. Night falls over the city. Are you too hurt anywhere? No, I finished the treatment, as expected from my best first aid kit. What? No, nothing. Never mind. Is your body okay, Mr. Reifenhart? The protagonist thinks. Ah, she started talking to me, just as I thought. He is strange. Mr. Leffen, and those kids running over there? Come here. I think they'll run. Well, they can try. It'll be a great experience for you. And answer quickly. Who sent you? I didn't think it would be so easy for you to talk. I knew it would be like this, and I won't show any mercy. And he's already pulling out his club, ready to beat the guys. Meanwhile, they're thinking, why is he pulling a club from the ground? In the next scene, he already sees sees the three of them completely beaten up. I'll ask again. You idiots. Who sent you? It was Master Tarek. He's the leader of the Rolofane Assembly. He lives in the mansion located in the south of Zeppelin. Just go through the south gate and take the third left. The protagonist thinks Tarek was the bastard who abused Cirrus in the past life. In the past life, I tried to hunt him down, but by bad luck, I found him already dead. Don't tell me you're going after Tarek, sir. Master Tarek is the head of the biggest syndicate in Shatton. If you do anything against him, the entire principality will come after you. I'm well aware of that. I know exactly what kind of person he is. Well, as promised, I'll spare your lives. Let's go. Put on some clothes, or you'll freeze to death. Meanwhile, the guys are clinging to the protagonist. Sir, your chest is warmer than I expected. Shut up, you idiot. Meanwhile, at Tarek's mansion. So, that defective elf was sold. That's right, Romade, that idiot. Why is he taking so long? And where did you buy these elves? They were a payment for Sir Lantis. Huh, do you hear that? Sounds like there's a commotion outside. And are we supposed to be interested in some peasant disturbance? Meanwhile, the guards are trying to fight someone, but each one is getting slapped down. It's harder not to kill someone than to kill. Oh, Fanes, pay close attention to your young servants and erase the painful memories that cloud their minds. Isn't that a spell for a broken heart you just used? I think very hard slaps to the face count as painful memories, don't they? What would you do if you didn't have my ability? Would you have infiltrated alone and broken that clown's face? Good thing I have memory erasing magic, because I also want to see this guy beaten to death. Today, you took things a bit personally, didn't you? Alright, Tada, protect against the human invasion. An orc carrying the blood of a warrior. You are guarding someone who doesn't deserve your protection. Why do you raise your sword for that terrible man? I am a warrior. I fulfill the duty of the one who wields a sword. How could I call myself a warrior if I changed my path for external matters? So you want to live as a slave too? That man is not your mentor. Even if he isn't my mentor, I was commanded to do this. Even if he's forcing you to do this. The protagonist thinks, as expected of an orc, very loyal. Sir Leffen, you can speak the orc language too. And Cirrus thinks, to think he can speak with orcs too. Lord Reifenhart, I'll take care of him. Will you be alright, Cirrus? I have a different weapon this time. Weak elf got stronger. Scylla, take care of her. If things get dangerous, you know what to do. Don't worry, it's my specialty. Powerful human, are you going to ignore me? Are you thinking of chasing my master immediately? Your opponent is the girl in front of you. Better think about your adversary before anything else, right? Your words are right. And the protagonist thinks that's how orcs think. As he approaches the door, he sees what looks like a mist. These are drugs. He opens the door and is horrified by what he sees. There are some people without clothes and a lot of blood on the walls. What? Who's there? Who are you? Why are you alone? I've seen all kinds of disgusting things in my life, but as long as my eyes are open, I won't let this happen. We see that this drug is like incense filling the room. Who the hell are you? When Reifenhart looks at the floor, he sees those two dead elves. Why are there so many bastards in this world who don't deserve to live? What's going on? Where is Talcata? Who let this intruder in? What do you want? Money? Do you want trading rights? This must be something from the T-Ban Union. I swear by the name of the Rolofane Assembly that I'll give you double of whatever you want. Cirrus suffered for 10 years at the hands of this monster, and you've always been the same. I may have lost you the last time. And he punches the fat man in the stomach. Why are you doing this to me? How did this pig dare to touch Cirrus? He dirtied Cirrus with those filthy hands. He kicked Cirrus with that leg. I don't even want to mention the atrocities you committed. Thinking about it, it seems a bit unfair to you now. But do you realize why you're dead now? You killed someone. You murderer. Funny, isn't it? You saying you're not a murderer. I haven't done anything unworthy in this life. Surely, you must not be ashamed of anything. And when the other two enter the room, they see Tarek's body covered in blood. How cruel. He deserved to die more cruelly than this. I completely agree with you, says the protagonist. It seems you have experience with this kind of scene, don't you, Scylla? I had a long journey. Oh, and Cirrus defeated Talcata. She's really strong, isn't she? She didn't even need my help. Actually, if it weren't for Scylla's healing, I wouldn't be here. Our protagonist uses his aura to check on Talcata's condition. Apparently, he's not dead, just weak. Are you the slave I returned? Why did you kill this child? What will you do if I say yes? Your life isn't even worth half the price of this child. But it's the least I can do, she says as she draws her sword. You won't kill me, you're just a mere slave. But he was wrong. Cirrus finishes the man with one blow. You won't touch this child with those filthy hands. Our protagonist didn't intervene. At that moment, outside the city, we see several orcs and elves around a bonfire. 17 female elves, 9 male orcs. These were the slaves of the mansion. Thank you very much, Talcata. No, I should thank you. My sword is now broken. Your master is my master. The gender difference is very extreme, isn't it? There's no demand for female female orcs and male elves. We see some elves praying in their language, and Cirrus begins to remember the protagonist's words. Did I misinterpret? Sorry to keep you all waiting. Oh, what's this? These are the documents and receipts for the purchase of the slaves, all from the Rolofane assembly. It took me a while to find them, but they're important. How did you find it? Well, I punched the office walls and opened the safe. What a brute. I've never heard of anything like this in my 50 years of life. What, 50? Ah, never mind, he thinks. So my personality has become this brutal. All right, but why did you bring these documents here? Because I need them now. Behold, if you no longer want to be slaves, I grant you your freedom. What's your choice? Everyone is thinking, like, freedom. What do you mean? Freedom. The protagonist thinks they don't even know what freedom means. Are you planning to become a slave trader? No, I don't intend to sell anyone here. So, I don't know. Are you going to become an adventurer and travel around? If I use this Rolofane assembly seal here, Tarek will no longer own them. This is the only formality needed for us to take them to a safe place. The protagonist thinks that if he frees these people without having a place for them to go, it would just be self-satisfaction. So, they need a safe place. But beyond that, he needs to change their perception of the world. That said, back in the city, they head to the T-Ban assembly. Aha, Mr. Reifenhart, aren't those Tarek's slaves? How did you buy all of them? Well, you'll find out soon. For now, I want you to take care of them in secret. Can you do that? Tomorrow, you'll hear some interesting news that will reveal the true story. So, if this secret leaks, you're the only suspect. Ah, that was just a super common threat, so you don't need to worry about it. You know, for now, I'll give you 100 gold coins. Take care of them for me, alright? 100 gold coins. This guy just robbed the Rolofane mansion, didn't he? I have a residence outside the borders of Zeppelin. If I pretend they are my slaves, it's impossible to be caught. Can you make sure no one else claims them as slaves? Sure. There are many interested people, but I think 100 coins is actually a bit excessive. I'd also like you to educate them about what money is, something they shouldn't have learned under Tarek's discipline. I'm not talking about the discipline of being a slave. I want you to teach them accounting, philosophy, and anything related to proficiency in some skill. If possible, also medical, pharmaceutical education, and all the knowledge you can. Sir, you want the slaves to receive education. Why would you go so far for a request like that? It's not a strange idea, you know? Isn't it more natural and comfortable for you to have a competent slave? Sir, it's impossible for a slave to properly learn these topics. And who knows if my money isn't enough to educate them. I can give you more. And if they become proficient in something, they can generate money themselves. It's not a bad deal for anyone here. Well, if you want me to do it, I'll try, okay? But academically, it's going to be a bit difficult because there aren't proper schools for that. I know all the students here are rich and powerful. So, how will you do it, sir? There are many teachers educating the rich in this city, aren't there? Maybe some of them are underpaid and need some extra money, huh? But how do you think they'll react when they see who their students are? I'm not expecting anything extraordinary. Basic knowledge is enough. Besides, it's cheaper this way, right? All right, I'll do as you say. But I still don't understand why slaves need to learn academic things. It's like teaching numbers to dogs and cats. It's explained that this idea the protagonist had is not unique. In the past, others have tried to teach this kind of thing to slaves, but the upper-class teachers refuse to educate them. For them, it's like giving a paintbrush to a dog and trying to teach it to paint. For centuries, humans have believed that other races are inferior. So now I'm going to use that belief against them. Let the truth be told. Humans don't educate their slaves. This is something humans have always rejected and avoided so that other races wouldn't resist slavery, so they wouldn't have the competence for it. Most humans have forgotten that this was the reason. When slaves start to be educated, Silval will notice and be surprised by the effects, and soon he will be educating the slaves himself, because a master will feel much more comfortable with competent slaves. If my plan works, all the kingdoms across the continent will start doing this. It's something I've wanted to do since my past life. Change people's beliefs, and it starts now. Back at the inn. Ah, Silen, do you have any money with you? Money? Well, you know the travel savings? I accidentally gave it all to Cold. Should I return this outfit then? No. There's no need for that. Cirrus starts to laugh as he gets all flustered, and Reifenhart barely notices. But this was the first time she smiled and laughed since she was freed. Actually, it was the first time since she was enslaved. The next morning, the city of Zeppelin was turned upside down. They found the bodies of the Rolofane assembly leader, Tarek, and Beret, leader of the Karen Union. The identity of the culprit remained unknown, and when the investigation started questioning the subordinates about what happened, they couldn't remember anything. The investigation hit a dead end because each one gave a different description of the culprit. 15 days later. Oh, Phalan, let your purifying light descend from the heavens upon these cursed ones. Phalan, do a complete service on this one. We see a great laser of Nephilan's power. Meanwhile, Cirrus is also taking down several skeletons on her own. These two work well together, don't they? Our protagonist is being attacked by all the skeletons at the same time and taking no damage. To be more precise, I think Selen is adjusting to Cirrus. That's because he has met many people and had to adapt. And because of that experience, he's very good at it. But at what age did he start fighting? Selen is by far the most impressive cleric I've ever met. If he keeps this up, he could become a great bishop, maybe even a saint. And in my past life, saints were my enemies. But since I didn't meet anyone like him in my past life, did he die wounded somewhere? The monsters in these ruins seem stronger than the others. It's so annoying. What we're doing here is just a side path. It's not that bad. It's explained that they arrived in the kingdom of Gren 15 days after leaving the Principality of Shatten, near the Sellard Mountains. They are located in the forgotten and ancient ruins of illusion. That's because our protagonist needs an item from here to be able to use his magic again. Finally, we made it. It looks like this door has been sealed with magic. I don't think we can brute force it open. What are you going to do now? That's why I told you to learn magic. Be quiet for a bit. I need to cast a spell. A spell? You know how to use magic too? Yes. Originally, I was a mage. What? You're a user of magical fists? And Selen thinks, not only does he have the best martial arts I've ever seen, he has an aura and is also smart. It's not fair. I can't get any muscles no matter how hard I work. What are you doing now? I'm gathering mana. It's not like you need that much mana for a 3rd level spell. By the ancient name, I command the power of this seal to unlock this door. Gates open, and the spell actually opens the door. A column of mana mist begins to rise, creating a rather beautiful sight, to be honest. And there go 13 minutes. You'll never call yourself a mage again after this. Shut up. It's open. Let's go. The protagonist thinks that in his past life, he was the first mage in the world to achieve the 10th magical circle, and that he urgently needs to find the voice of illusion because he's so miserable in this state. But when they finally enter the last chamber, there's nothing there. What? It's empty. They only find a piece of wood and head back outside. How could this happen? Someone must have explored it in the past, you know? The protagonist thinks that in his past life, this dungeon was only discovered 17 years from now. Yeah, it seems the future has changed. Well, it's not like we came out empty-handed. Look at the artifact she found. Cirrus uses magic on the piece of wood, and it transforms into the magical bow Milan, a bow that can create mana arrows, allowing the user to fire multiple arrows depending on their concentration. The shot is very powerful. I thought it was just a piece of wood, but it's really a bow. Cirrus, this weapon is amazing. Who would have thought that piece of wood is such an extraordinary item? How did you know that, Sir Leffen? I heard some information. The protagonist thinks that it was actually the bow Cirrus used in the past. Anyway, there are many ruins on this continent, so he shouldn't feel too bad. But there's no relic that can replace the voice of illusion, the only artifact in this world that could restore his magical power. I can finally see the village of Jera. Let's see if some homemade food will help us recover our energy. And indeed, they go to enjoy a feast. It's so good to see people enjoying my cooking. Is this food enough for you? Yes, ma'am. It's really good. It's the best cuisine in the region. At least you're not like those snobbish men. What? Arrogant people pass through here? Some knights came by a week ago. I think they said they explored some ruins. Ma'am, can you tell us more about that? The protagonist offers a coin for the information. Why are you offering me money for such information? Calm down, boy. About a week ago, Viscount Kellen brought his exploration group, but for some reason, everyone seemed to be of much higher status than him. They even had a knight completely covered in gold. It was actually quite funny to see everything on him shining, and he was very kind to the others. Really, the protagonist thinks that there's only one person in the entire continent with golden armor and sword, the Golden Knight of Teens County from the Kingdom of Grin. Meanwhile, the sun is setting. We see a scene of a spectacular dinner. As always, Lord Eudes, only thanks to your help, Viscount Kelber. But you did all the heavy lifting of killing the monsters, as expected of the great Golden Knight of Grin, and I was very lucky to see your skills with my own eyes. Don't worry, Viscount Karen. As promised, a third of all the relics I obtained will go to you. He is the Grandmaster of the Sword, Eudes Teens. My lord knows that these artifacts make no difference compared to the honor of fighting by your side. Please, keep them. They make no difference to me. The Viscount thinks that money may rot and lose its value over time, but having a friendly connection with Eudes is very valuable. So, what do you plan to do with the oral adamant you found? I have my subordinates make a weapon out of it. Don't worry. As expected of the Khan family, you must have very competent dwarves, right? And these here are my concubines, whom I haven't introduced to you yet. You too, please show him the proper respect. He is the famous Golden Knight of Grin. I am aware that you are already married, but there's a girl here. I can't can't let you leave without taking her. Forgive me, sir, but I don't plan to get close to any other woman besides my wife. The Viscount thinks the rumors were right. This is a sensitive issue for him. Anyway, his younger sister. But Eudes does something that makes the Viscount stop talking. I don't have a younger brother. He simply shatters the cup he was drinking from. Ah, I'm sorry. I think I misspoke a bit. Another thing catches their attention as well. What was that sound? I think now, sir, some demon came after the relics. It's a Katten, and we see a large creature, a big monster, destroying everything in the castle. The knight thinks, did something among the relics summon this creature? But he sees something that makes him very angry. That idiot. Be careful with your swords. Evacuate the civilians first and prepare for battle. Mages, get ready. Knights, raise your shields. A man in armor with a shield and sword approaches. The mages manage to buy enough time to cast a spell, creating very large ice walls that form a cage around the creature. Now get into position and wait for the Grandmaster. RZ, what are you doing? Damn demon. There is no place for you here. This warrior makes a great leap and prepares to strike the creature, seemingly able to wound it until blood gushes out. But he didn't expect the creature to be ready to counterattack. This attack completely breaks his sword and knocks him down. You idiot. He tries to recover a bit and a fireball flies right past him, hitting the creature squarely in the chest. Charlotte, leave this idiot to me and go monitor the perimeter. Brother. Everyone starts cheering. The Grandmaster is here. Who are you calling brother? Honored knights of teens aren't born from dogs like you. He is shocked to hear this. A Katten, if I weren't an aura user, I wouldn't be able to fight him. He's not just. He readies his great sword, and an aura radiates from his golden blade. Keep your eyes wide open, Ziari. His sword begins to transform, shedding the casing around it. This casing turns into the knight's golden armor. Come, demon from another world. Meanwhile, at an inn. Oh, it's Eudes, the so-called Golden Knight, isn't it? He's actually quite famous. How did you not know? Well, I lived in the mountains for a long time. He's one of the most powerful magic knights on the continent. He can beat anyone in skill. What's so special about him? And you, Cirrus, have you heard of him? Yes, Mr. Leffen. Anyway, did you like the pajamas? They look good on you. Ah, yes. But anyway, isn't it a bit wrong to compare a magic knight to an aura user? Because the real work is done by his magical equipment. I'm not sure. The Eldred armor is the most powerful magical tool in existence, but using it is another story. It's explained that it's hundreds of times rarer than the holy silver mithril and the holy goldenitor. The Eldred magical armor is made of sacred gold, and the Eldred magical sword is the most powerful artifact among silver relics. It's passed down through generations in the teen's family. Sorry, everyone, the armor's name is Eldred, and the sword's name is Eldrin. It's said that the magic knight who can use Eldred and Eldrin is the Golden Knight. Just using this armor and sword requires a very high magical power. Using these two pieces of equipment, you can even achieve the abilities of someone with an aura. I'm lighter than the wind, but of course, if you use these items well, we see the Golden Knight making a very high leap and preparing an attack from above. Awaken. Eldrin. 8th Circle Material Destruction. A massive explosion occurs. We return to our protagonist. Even though the teen's family is small, many generations have researched exactly how Eldred works. It doesn't mean that just because you have a strong weapon, you become strong. You have a well-formed opinion about magic knights, don't you, Mr. Leffen? From what I know, aura users don't know much about magic knights. Yes, but that's because the techniques for using the teen's family's armor are much more comprehensive than just that. Eyes of the god of death piercing the darkness. I'll make this world kneel to the essence of a dragon. Breath of decline flowing through the air. Actually, I'm not even sure if a user of a magic sword in this way can develop an aura, but it's guaranteed that only one golden knight will appear per generation. It's a great benefit to have a soldier in your army with the power of someone of aura level. But for the knight using Eldred, well, it's not going to be that simple. Perish. The Golden Knight finally slays the creature. We see it disintegrate before falling, and everyone is impressed by what he did. He strikes a heroic pose, but looks at his brother with a very negative expression. Is it even possible to beat someone like him? Calm down. You're not planning a battle against the County of Teens, are you? I really need the artifact they took. Are you suggesting we go and steal it from them? In Shatton, I only helped you because you were doing the right thing. The County, this time, just got the artifact before us. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're suggesting taking their artifact, you mean stealing, right? Ah, you're right. It wasn't a good idea. As my companion, I want you to stay out of this. I told you I learned from the unbreakable method, didn't I? I remember you mentioning Gerald, the King of Fists. Yes, but as you can see, we need to go through some challenges to learn other techniques. So, you're saying your master placed the artifact in those ruins on purpose and instructed you to retrieve it? Yes, it's part of our tradition. Sometimes the teachings are quite extreme, you know? So, Gerald already explored those ruins and didn't take any any of the other artifacts because they were meant to be rewards for the disciples. Think about it. How do you think I knew about the Bow of Nylon? And if this dungeon were completely unknown, how would I know the shortcut to get to that room? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Silen. Everything I said was a lie. RPR invented a story to avoid talking about his past life. I think it's fair. Well, in that case, we have no other option, right? I understand. It wasn't surprising that I found it strange. No matter how valuable the artifacts of the Silver Age are, I never imagined for a moment that you would be stealing from these people. Leffen, and our protagonist is making that face again. So you need that artifact at any cost, don't you? Yes, that's what I'm worried about. Anyway, this situation is very annoying. Stealing is really our only option. Good job, Mr. Eudes. As expected from our Golden Knight, look at everyone's condition. I'll leave the rest in your hands, alright? A swordsman who only knows how to cut downwards isn't worthy of being called a sword of teens. Know your place. Ruse, this sword contains the spirit of teens. I am still one of the swords of teens. The next day, there was Ruse, training in the courtyard early. It was just him and his sword. Hey, Ruse, what made you take such an idiotic action yesterday? I just wanted to defeat the demon. That's all. No one told you to defeat the demon. Didn't you hear the captain's order? I am a sword of teens. If you have a problem with that, challenge me to a duel. This idiot. Let's get out of here. Leave this weirdo alone. It's explained that Ruse is indeed very powerful, but he has only learned one sword skill, which is the downward cut, along with a special breathing for this attack. His blade always traces a perfect path through the air, and his transition time is almost invisible. Although the sword master recommended this attack to him, his other techniques are still very poor. As a noble family, the teens family preserved their sword techniques exclusively for their knights. However, Ruse never had the opportunity to learn all these techniques. As a result, he is a bastard, only his father's son with a woman who wasn't a noble. All the vassals and other knights strongly refused to teach him the full training of the teens family. In the end, his father could only pass on one technique to him, and he believed that his son, with this technique, could make a name for himself. Ruse fought all his life and worked hard not to disappoint his father's expectations. The once great sword of teens, capable of unleashing immense power, now exists only as a fragment limited to a single downward strike. This technique has become forgotten and useless to everyone. He will never achieve greatness with just a downward strike, especially with a fragment of a power long forgotten. What an idiot. But as expected of that bastard, we see that he is working hard and shouting loudly. He is still a genius, and now, back in the same castle. I can't believe I'm doing this in my new life, using a mask to infiltrate. How is this lord's castle so big? They must have grown thanks to the work of the dwarves he has enslaved here. We see some guards patrolling the castle gate. Sorry about this. Our protagonist simply knocks out the 3 guards with a chop to the neck. In the entrance hall, there were 2 other knights talking, and one of them is distracted by a noise. Our protagonist was right above them. The protagonist thinks, so this is why thieves always stick to the ceiling. It seems I'm not having much trouble with this heist. Stealing isn't such a big deal. Judging by what the knight said, these guys here with the better equipment must be the knights of teens. But he completely ignores this and takes down the first knight with a punch to the stomach. The other one he puts in a chokehold, and the guy turns purple like a grape. This must be the place. Using his aura, he analyzes the area better. These are motion capture and heat detection barriers. I don't think I can disarm them now. There must be something nearby. Then he sees a stone on the ground. So this is it, The runes are engraved on this stone. He simply vaporizes the stone, breaking all the security magic. He enters the storage and starts looking for the relic he wants. It seems they organized by categories. This here, found it. The voice of illusion. As he moves towards it, he passes a string, and when he realizes it, the string rings a bell. He fell into the simplest trap on planet Earth. And that's it for today. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It's very important. And this time, I want you to comment on what you think will happen in this story. If it's a well thought out comment, I'll give it a heart. See you next time.